Friday here on Ben and Woods this morning. Welcome in. Let's get our heads right. Great to be here with you. And TGI MFF is how I look at it. It's been a long week this week, I think, but a good week. I think it's been a good week. And we'll try to finish strong for you today. I'm Woodsy, and co-host of this program with my pal Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. And joining us again, I can't see his head at all. Oh, there it is. He's got it covered with a hat today. Bald Rindle, Adam Clug, welcome in. Also, happy birthday to our pal, Adam Clug. Good morning.
No place I'd rather be on my birthday, gentlemen.
Nothing like having to get up at the ass crack of dawn on your birthday and come in and work with two yahoos, one of them who mocks you incessantly and is also your subordinate. It's got to be a fun way to spend it. What would you have done had you not had to come in today?
I mean,
breakfast in bed?
No.
No?
It's Friday. I'd still be working.
Okay. But?
What's your dream day? Like your dream birthday?
What's your dream birthday?
Doesn't involve coming here. Let's not pretend you love work so much that you'd be here for your birthday just because you like it so much.
Right. Well, at least not at 6 a.m.
Could I sleep in until 8 o'clock?
Sure. Whatever you want. It's your birthday.
I'm asking that of my children.
Right. Would they
8
let
o'clock.
you? Would they let you?
No.
I haven't seen 8 o'clock.
No.
In a long, long time.
Let's say magically you have a nanny who takes the kids, whisks them away to the fair. You have an entire day to yourself. What do you do with it, Adam? What's your ideal day? I still don't know that much about Adam.
Yeah,
Clug.
I don't either. He doesn't give a lot.
Wouldn't go play
That's
golf. He
a
doesn't
good
go.
question.
What would he do on his ideal day?
So as I sat there last night, remembering it was his birthday. I mean, it's better than I did with your birthday. I forgot entirely for 2.5 hours, as someone just pointed out in the chat. That won't happen again. You can rest assured. You're going to hate your birthday from every year on out. Trust me. It's going to be the biggest GD celebration you've ever
about
seen.
legally changing my birthday just so you don't know when it is. Can you do that? Can people legally change their birthday?
I don't know that I've ever felt so bad and like a bigger piece of S in my life that day when Ben looked at us and said, I have to bring something up. It's a little bit awkward for me. And I just remember sitting here going, what could it be? And sure enough, we missed his birthday. And I was sitting there last night thinking that today is Adam's birthday. And I thought, can I be honest 100%? I thought, what around the house can I grab to bring for him for his birthday? That's a true statement. I wasn't going to go buy anything because it was, 6 o'clock at night. But I thought, there's got to be something here that I can bring him. Because I've got booze, I didn't want merch or anything.
I'm surprised you didn't offer me a rally towel.
A rally towel? I know you have plenty of those. I don't have a Kirby Smart autographed helmet anywhere. If I did, I would give it to you, like a Herschel Walker signed bag or something. It's yours. I don't need it. I'm trying to get rid of stuff in my house. So this morning I walked into the kitchen and I looked up in the cabinet and I had a really nice bottle of champagne. But I thought, it's not mine. It's my wife's. She'd probably be mad, even though she doesn't really drink it. And I had this really nice bottle of bourbon. And I thought, well, does he even like bourbon? And then I thought...
He's Southern. He has to like bourbon.
I thought in my mind, Ben, I go, he went to Georgia. Of course he likes bourbon. It's a bit there. Are you a bourbon man? What are you?
More of a Scotch guy.
You're a Scotch guy. Okay, I do have a good bottle of Scotch I could have brought you. All right, that's an IOU from me to you. My bottle
you don't have to do that. Please don't.
of Doers. Are you? What do you? Scotch on the rocks?
Yeah.
Scotch and water?
I like Scotch on the rocks.
I do too. I really like Scotch. I was in a big Scotch phase for about a year. It was embarrassing. You know how I've told about my phases before. I had a Hawaiian shirt phase. I had a wine phase. Wine Woods was the worst.
You had a wine phase.
The Wine Woods was the worst version of me you've ever seen.
Like, what were you? Pinot? Cab?
No, I was, go to a bar. It was in my 20s.
Right.
Go to a bar and order a bottle of wine and walk around with a bottle of wine in a glass, like a complete...
Walk around with a bottle
Yes.
of wine in a glass.
Yeah, like I thought it was Eddie Vedder or something. It was horrible.
I mean, you guys
it's
know
embarrassing.
I've told you this story, but
I hate myself.
I deal with gout, and the
Got
doctor.
that gout!
The doctor told me beer is literally the worst thing you can drink, and so I haven't had a sip of beer in several months. ever since I kind of got this diagnosis.
Yeah.
And so I met some buddies, my assistant coaches from my son's baseball team, at Carl Strauss a couple weeks ago, and I'm sitting there drinking a glass of red wine at Carl Strauss, and I felt like a jerk.
Yeah, you feel like a clown a little bit.
I'm still fascinated by
ask me,
Woods
bro.
walking around,
Ben,
just carrying a bottle of wine in his own glass.
that was the worst, man.
Robe or
Was
no
it
robe?
white or red?
No,
Red wine.
It
Usually.
was red.
Red wine.
Yeah, I don't like white wine.
Okay,
I'm
just
not,
making sure.
I'm not a soccer mom. I don't drink white wine.
Little buttery Chardonnay.
What do you- I mean, I know I live in Encinitas, but I'm not a
Can
soccer
totally
mom.
picture Woods with a white Zinfandel.
It's disgusting. That's pink, actually, Adam. Yeah, Pinot Grigio. Come on. No, it was red wine. I was an idiot, man. It's embarrassing to talk about. It's embarrassing. Those days were very embarrassing. Ugh.
Are you wearing a beret
No,
too? or
no,
anything?
just a normal clothes, just a total DB. I will wear it 100%.
Would you like pour
man.
some for other people as you walked around as well? Like, was it
Andros says, "Why even carry the glass? Just drink it straight from the bottle." I'm sure I did, man. I was just the worst. It wasn't sideways. It was way pre-sideways. I just said it. I saw Eddie Vedder do it on stage. I thought he looked cool, so I thought I would do it. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed now. I'm red.
I'm more worried about the fact that even Adam doesn't know what he'd do with Adam's free day.
Yeah,
Adam's day
I
off.
haven't had a free day in
Don't
years.
give me that. You sound like my wife. Give me a break. Yes, you have.
Away
yes, you
from my
have.
wife.
I mean,
and
would you
kids?
go to movies? Would you go to the
We're just trying to find out
hiking?
What
I
are
mean,
you
what would
interested
do?
in?
You don't play golf. You don't.
You don't play softball. You
I'm
don't.
a
would you
loser.
just
I
go
don't
to a
have
sports-
friends here. I moved here from somewhere else. I don't meet people.
sports bar and
I
watch.
moved here from somewhere else. I have friends. You know why I have
You're
friends?
cool and I'm not.
Because I have interests.
Guess
if
what?
you have interests, you can make friends.
I live here. I don't really have
Ben
any
doesn't
friends,
have any
and I still
friends.
have days that I can go out and have fun.
We're just trying to find out what.
I'm not interested.
What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? I could ask the same question of both of you. You both drive me crazy. I'll tell you that right now. Because I don't see, like, you guys are such sports guys. That's it. That's it.
Woods,
It's sports.
Woods, on the way in this morning at 5:15 in the morning, I was listening to a fantasy football podcast.
There you
And
go.
he was
Okay.
listening to PGA Tour radio. Do you guys have no interest in anything else, like cinema or art or music or philosophy? Anything?
not really.
Nothing.
No.
No interest in learning more. I just don't understand.
I'm interested in learning which wide receiver is going to have a breakout season.
It's so good. Because he's now quizzing you, but I always ask, I want to quiz Ben. Like, no. So, okay, perfect example. Last night. So, what did you do last night? Well, you had to work.
I was working.
So, you
last
had to
night.
do sports. What did you do last night after you put your kids down, Adam?
I watched TV.
What did you watch?
I finished an episode. I'm behind. I stopped in the middle of an episode. It's called Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy
it's
Renner.
great. Yeah. First season's great.
Well, their season 3 just came out, so there's I think 2 episodes, and so I finished an episode. I hadn't finished.
Of season 3?
Mhm.
Okay. Other than that, what would you do? Like, you have your
I
shows,
DVR
you have your programs.
PTI every day, and I watch PTI at
Oh,
night.
This is
I am-
unbelievable,
Yes,
man.
Adam has definitely exceeded my tolerance even for sports.
It's incredible. It's incredible to me. So what I took last night as an advantage to I started reading articles about records, and then I learned about some new bands, and I went and listened to those bands. I'm trying to expand my knowledge, and it's not
Well, I expand my knowledge as well.
of golf,
Not always.
baseball.
I like to go
football.
down Wikipedia rabbit holes to learn about things. Yesterday, I
Okay,
got
good.
curious
This is what I
about-
want.
I got curious about the Everglades. And so I was reading up about exactly what are the
Now,
Everglades.
see, that's the most fascinating thing you've said all week long. That's incredible.
I've always
Okay,
heard
why?
about it. I know they're in Florida. I know they're like swampy, but why are they swampy? What causes the Everglades?
What prompted this? Did
That's
you
a
s-
good question.
Were you watching a movie or something? Or
I think it may have just been simply like I saw Miami somewhere on a screen,
Okay.
and I thought, you know what? I don't know much about Florida. And I
Okay.
went and looked at the map, and I go, oh yeah, the Everglades take up like Key West, and okay, well, how do you do that? Okay, so the Everglades. What are the Everglades? I know they're a swamp, but how does that exactly work? And I wanted to learn about it. So it's really just like a 60-mile wide shallow river that just flows through southern Florida.
And they have all those
grasses,
reeds and stuff
sawgrass, reeds, and it's really not that hospitable even for animals. Alligators love it. They love living in the sawgrass reeds of the Everglades. That's where they make their home.
And slinking around in there, eating
and what
people,
they do. And surprisingly, I didn't realize this. I thought, well, it's always wet. No, there are massive periods of drought in the Everglades as well. And what the gators do is they dig out areas where it stays wet, even in the dry season, which attracts, like the birds and the other things that need the water. Of course, unfortunately, when they come to get the water, the alligator gets them, and that's how they feed themselves, by creating their little habitats with a little bit of a small pond for themselves.
Now, literally, I'm telling you, that is massively interesting. And it does, I can't tell you the delight that it brings me to think that you weren't going down a rabbit hole of greatest U.S. Open champions that never made it. You know what I mean? Like that makes me happy that you have other interests, because after 6 years together, I sometimes wonder what they are. You have none, almost.
I like to watch movies, stuff. I'll watch movies on, Netflix or whatever at night. I just watched Inception again for the, couple. I've seen it obviously before, but I watched it again. It's excellent.
And no interest in in books or anything like that. Do you read books? Sports bios.
Who has time to read books?
You make time.
No, I'd rather watch TV. Or read an article about sports.
You love sports.
So then I can then send you guys a note. Hey, did you guys read this? Make a great topic.
The dude loves sending us articles and topics, and I do appreciate that. But happy birthday to you, Adam. Also wanted to take a moment to shout out, because we won't get a chance to do it on Sunday. We don't work on Sunday. Shout out to all the dads out there.
You can work on Sunday if you'd like.
I do not want to work on
arrange
Sunday.
that.
No, no. It is Father's Day. Now, we celebrated Mother's Day weekend at my home, and I'm under the assumption that we're just going to be celebrating Father's Day. Maybe even not at all.
Father's breakfast.
Father's Day. I don't even know if Father's Day is a thing after the last 24 hours that we've had. Crap Dad has made apparently another appearance in my home, and Bo and I are butting heads, as you do on the first day of summer with your 6-year-old. The first day of summer did not go. It didn't go incredibly well yesterday.
You're ready for school to start again.
Yeah, after one day. After one day of that. So happy Father's Day to all the good dads out there. And, if you're a crap dad like I am right now, there's still time to pull yourself out of it. And I know the one thing I know about fatherhood is this. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try, and you have to show up, and you have to keep at it. Like anything that you want to be successful at, it is absolutely the most rewarding, awful thing. It can be the most awful moment of your life, and it brings out the very best in me, and it brings out the absolute worst in me as well. And it's just about striking the balance, between the two. Obviously, I love my kids more than anything. I love my dad. Shout out to my dad, Gary Woods, absolute angel. Your dad's a sweet, sweet angel, Chief. And Adam, how's your dad? Are you close with your dad?
Close enough.
Close enough?
He lives in Florida. We don't.
In the Everglades.
We don't talk. Yes, in the Everglades. In the actual Sunshine State. He's not a big sports fan, though, which is
so.
odd.
What do you
Real
relate
common
to?
interests.
What do you guys talk about? See, this is where it gets deep after an off day. We can get really into the weeds, the glades, on this thing. What do you talk about?
We don't talk a whole lot, to be honest.
That's sad. Well, call them today.
That's really what sports are for. It's to
bring you together.
Give a conversation topic between two guys, fathers and sons, that don't have anything else to talk about otherwise.
Yeah.
There would be no conversation at my home whatsoever.
If it wasn't sports.
If it wasn't for sports. But fortunately, my dad, my brother, we all love sports, and there's always a good conversation going. So it's very important for, social connection.
That used to be all my dad and I had too. I think was sports, but we've grown a lot together.
You talked about being there, being present, being a good dad, and it's remarkable how it's really only in the last generation or so. Our dads were good dads, but you go back and you watch like an episode of Mad Men. Dads barely even knew their kids. 60, 70 years ago, it was not nearly. It's a fairly recent development. This emotional relationship
Yeah.
between fathers and sons and daughters that didn't really. I mean, I'm sure there were parents that were more
those were
involved back in the day, but
those were like outliers.
Those were outliers.
It really was. I've had that conversation. I had it with my wife last week. I know we're running. We're fine. I had it with my wife last week, and she said something to the effect of, "There's something at the school," and I just said, we were talking to our counselor about it, and I said to her, I go, "Look, I'm trying my very best. I show up by coaching, and it's a lot, and it takes a lot out of me. I do that. If I can't we're celebrating the opening of our new garden at elementary school. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I need to, I can't go to everything. Like, physically, mentally, I can't be at everything. But I do I show up in other areas." And I told Hannah, I go, "Look, me and all the guys I know, we always have these conversations. And what it is we're just trying to do better. Not that our dads did, but I'm trying to be more involved. My dad worked 8 in the morning till 7 at night. I have the luxury of being home." And I said, "I'm trying to do the best that I can and show up to as many things as I can," which is, again, it's kind of a new phenomenon for a lot of men. And I'm trying really hard at it. I do. I don't always succeed. I don't always succeed at being a good dad. I probably wasn't a great dad yesterday, but I'm going to try my ass off to be a great dad today.
If Paulie was here, he'd remind us that he doesn't have a dad.
Yeah, his dad abandoned.
We'd all feel really bad about it.
He does it to us every year.
Father's
at
Day,
this time.
Great. Yeah, you must be lucky.
It's the worst.
You had dads. I
It is
didn't have
the worst.
one.
It was. It's the worst that he does it. And he does it to us every year.
But he's still a little under the weather,
Yep.
and hopefully he'll be back on Monday.
Shout out to all the dads out there. We love you. We know how hard you're working. And what do we got between us? 7 kids in here? Jeez. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. Shout out to our wives, too, for doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
And shout out SD as we
Shout out
get
SD.
started here in the morning. It is Ben Woods. Set the menu. It's more of a light buffet this morning as we go through until 10 o'clock on a Friday. But let's have some fun. Let's relax. Let's enjoy ourselves. Obviously, it's a Fryer Friday as well. You know what that means. But we'll tell you all about it when we come back. First check of traffic with Kelly as we get you to the weekend here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Was there any residuals from your 40 jelly beans that you ate yesterday?
You mean like in terms of how I felt later?
Yeah, like your stomach
ache or lack of appetite or anything.
I have an iron gut.
You do have an iron gut.
He really
we
does.
had Round Table Pizza delivered a couple hours later. I was ready to go.
Did you crush some of that?
By the time I got back from that Chuke press conference, there was only like a slice left.
Oh, yeah, because sales got to it. There was plenty left when we left
Jackals,
the round
dude.
table
Jackals.
yesterday.
Would you? Oh, you didn't get a chance to.
Go.
You didn't get a chance to hear the round table.
I listened on the way home.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I was good too. I will tell you though that I had a whole conversation the afternoon before with Chris Ello because I was in with the afternoon show about showing up on time and being there for the round table and etc. And I was at the Chuque Lozano press conference. And it started at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And right at 10, right before the presser started, I opened my phone, opened the YouTube app, and I go, oh, there's an empty seat there. I'm missing Chris Ello. And I was about to start cursing and make a phone call, but I was like, I need my phone to record this press conference. I was steaming throughout the press.
So what came up on the show that...
If you missed it, by the way, Chris did show up after
like 10 minutes late.
10 minutes in.
Correct.
He just happened to doze off.
He dozed off?
He just fell asleep as he was getting ready to come and be with us. I kind of understand that. You just think you're fine, and all of a sudden,
him the business.
He just fell asleep and just wasn't here. And he woke up at 10:04 at that panicky feeling like, I'm supposed to be somewhere. I'm supposed to be on the air, but I'm not there.
Had it come up on their show about being late or on time? Because he's always been on time.
That. He came in and he said, Adam, I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. And I canceled it. And so that's kind of how it came up. He was joking with me that he had a doctor's appointment, but he said he canceled. He's like, I would never miss the round table.
And then 10 minutes late. Oh,
but at the time, I didn't know he was late. I thought something happened. Like we had an extra chair set up and all this stuff, and it's empty.
You got to be careful of absolutes.
By the
saying
way,
I would never.
I will peel the curtain back a little on Chris Ello because I love Chris. I used to host a show with Chris. Even before that, I worked with Chris at the old Mighty 690 way back in the day when he was the weekend host, and I would run his board from time to time. Chris is as knowledgeable as anyone when it comes to sports.
100%.
He's always well prepared for his show. He's never been the I get there early sort of guy. In fact,
he's always here early for the roundtable.
He's good for the roundtable, but back in the day, there would be times where he'd be like, "Just play my intro music long," because he had like that 4-minute intro song. I'll be there before the end of the music to start the show. But literally, I would start the show.
He's not here.
And he's not even sitting in the room yet.
The panic that it would get out of me is insane. That's not anything you'll ever have to worry about, Ben. If I haven't proven that.
It's the same way with me, and I used to work with Doug Gottlieb, and his whole thing, he was like that. He wants to be when he goes to fly in an airplane, he says he wants to be the last person through the runway. He literally goes, I want them to slam the door shut on me as I walk in, and I'm there 2 hours early, no matter what.
I've worked with two of the most opposite people. Yeah. Chris, I'll be there. 5 seconds early is early, and Woods, who is 2 hours early, is late. I mean, you could not be more diametrically opposed when it comes to your ideas of what on time means.
I have a lot of faults. I have a lot of shortcomings, and that being said, that's not one of them. That is never one you have to worry about.
Another one like that.
It actually kind of is.
My wife.
You're way too early.
No.
You're too early for things.
My wife is incapable of being on time. Literally incapable.
Would drive me crazy.
And I am early everywhere I go. And so it starts making my heart race.
Yeah.
When we're approaching the time that we're supposed to leave.
Yeah, it would drive me nuts. Drive me nuts.
If you did miss the roundtable, or even if you didn't, I'd like to dive a little bit into. We had a few minutes at the end where we were kind of discussing, is there any of these players you want to invest in right now on the roster? I thought it was an interesting conversation, and I'd like to pick it up. I mean, if there is any money to spend, is it, Dylan Cease is going to be a free agent after next year. Michael King is going to be a free agent after next year. Luis Ariz is going to be a free agent after next year. Ha-Seong Kim is a free agent after this year. And then you've got a young stud, Jackson Merrill. They've already established, with Fernando Tatis Jr., that they're willing to buy out many years early to lock him up long term. Is there a player that you want to spend that long-term money on if the Padres are willing to do so. So we'll talk about that coming up. 7 o'clock hour, last chance this week to qualify for the trip to the Fontainebleau Las Vegas and take on Woods at 7:10. Don't do this. Our normal features in the 7 o'clock hour, and then guests in the second half of the program. A Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday, brought to you by Grand Ole Barbecue. Jordan Schusterman is going to be with us for a second straight week.
Love Jordy.
We always happy with either one of them, but we got Jordan this week, and then we'll have the manager's report with Mike Shildt joining us at 9 o'clock from the Big Apple. See how he spent his day off after a couple of wins, 5 wins in 6 games.
Any guesses? Any guesses?
There a Chipotle in near the team hotel?
My guess is yes. My guess is yes. All that food. I went to Chipotle. Got a burrito bowl.
Probably very happy with himself.
You got a problem with that, cuz?
So we'll get you ready for the Mets series coming up with the skipper, Mike Shildt, as we take you until 10 o'clock this morning with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Frozen Ropes Summer Baseball League and Camps. Today is the last day to call to register your ball player age 6 through 12 for the Baseball Summer League. Going to be awesome summer of player development featuring Bo Woods. Competition registration closes today. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com.
And, hey, good luck, Coach Kurt. You got your hands full, bud.
Obviously, no Padres wrap-up with no game yesterday, which is fine. Everybody needs a day off. However, it'll be the interesting scenario today that both teams, Padres and Mets, are coming off walk-off home run wins. Padres, of course, coming off 2 straight.
Yeah.
And the Mets got a walk-off home run yesterday by J.D. Martinez. First one of his career.
Which is amazing to think
Two-run
about.
shot in the bottom of the ninth to beat the Miami Marlins 3-2. Yeah, J.D. Martinez, never with a walk-off.
Jackson Merrill's got a walk-off home run, and he's tied with J.D. Martinez for walk-off home runs in his his 8-week MLB career. J.D. Martinez has been doing it for a long time.
They did win the series. And the last 2 games, I don't know if that's a sign that the Mets are emerging from any of their early season struggles. They definitely have too many players underperforming, and their pitching staff has not been good. It's been ranked, I think, in the bottom 5 in all of baseball. So, hopefully the Padres have a chance to take advantage. But, today it's Sean Manaea on the mound, the old number 5 starter for the Padres against the new and improved number 5 starter in Matt Waldron, who will go back out after allowing just 5 runs in his last 5 starts. He's on the best run of his career right now. I actually get excited for Waldron days. I used to dread, oh no, it's Matt Waldron day. What are you going to get? Is he going to give up a bunch of early runs? Now I'm actually looking forward to when Matt Waldron pitches and unleashing his knuckleball and how he's been throwing it lately. So that's your matchup tonight.
You hope that it continues. Manaea actually started pretty decently for the Mets this year, and then June hit. Benny, he's 0-2 in June with a 10.61. He is a left-handed pitcher though, and again, knowing that the Padres have still continued to scuffle against left-handed pitching, it's a crapshoot. It's a total crapshoot. You just don't know who's going to show up and if they're going to be able to scratch out any runs. And you do feel a lot better with the way that Waldron's pitched, that he can keep you in the ball game, certainly, and you can get to Manaea and get into that bullpen.
Also, speaking of pitchers, really good day yesterday for future Padre Garrett Crochet. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 13 strikeouts. Future Padre Michael Kopech blew the lead but vultured the win as the White Sox beat the Mariners 3-2.
You're feeling that? Are you speaking that into existence?
I don't even know if I want it now. After talking to Eno yesterday, I think, and the point that was made that as good as he's been, and he's had ace stuff, and he showed it again yesterday.
He's unbelievable yesterday.
How many more innings does he have left this season? Now I'm domed out that you'll trade for him, and he's got like 3 starts left this year.
At some point, though, we have seen in baseball guys get injured and then stay healthy. That has happened.
It has.
Yes, in the history of baseball, guys have gotten injured, had a long road back to recovery, and then have stayed healthy for a couple of 3 years. That's
specifically
happened.
In Crochet's case, it's not necessarily a case of will he stay healthy. It's more of an innings limit because he's never done it. He's coming back from a previous injury, and it's on a non-competitive team.
Okay.
If they don't trade him.
Who's going to want a ton for him because he's their best player and has lots of control. He'll have value probably even more so in the next 2 years. But you need him now. I mean, you're trying to win right now, and if he can't go more than 50 or 60 more innings and you're giving up a huge price tag to acquire him, does that really help the San Diego Padres?
Again,
there's no rule in the rule book.
Is that something? Yeah, is that just
he
something
has to be shut down?
That just something that we say?
No, it's not. Benny,
because I'll tell you right now, both you guys. Last night in his 100 whatever pitches he threw, you know how many breaking balls he threw? 0. Threw 0 breaking balls. None. He threw 4 seamers. He threw cutters. He threw 1 changeup that got hit for a home run. He's out there pumping Ched by guys. And again,
throwing max effort, even fastballs. Yes, sliders are harder on the elbow, but I'm not saying that he's about to blow out his elbow. I'm just saying that he's only got so many more innings left. If you're a even semi-responsible organization,
well, wouldn't that help you then in your what do you want for him?
You
No,
can push a guy.
innings.
You can push a guy like 40 or 50, maybe past his all-time high, like they did with Seth Lugo last year. But even if they do that with Garrett Crochet, he's still going to run out of innings in August.
Okay, Ben said, 40 or 50 innings past his all-time high?
Yeah.
He is a converted reliever, just like Michael King was. Would you like to guess his all-time high
and
in
Seth
innings?
Lugo.
90, 80? What has he got?
The
60?
most innings he's ever pitched in Major League Baseball is this year. He's already at 82.2 innings.
What was it before this year?
54.
54. So you're going to
54 innings. And by the way, that was in 2021.
If you trade for him and want him to be in your rotation the rest of the year, you're going to ask him to go 120 innings beyond anything he's ever done before. That's just basically saying we don't care about your arm. We don't care about anything. If he was going to be a free agent next year and you were just renting him, all right, yeah, go ahead. Jockey, go. But if you'd be trading for him, you'd be spending the capital to have him for the next 2 years, and there'd be a good chances you'd be ruining him for the next 2 years by pushing him that hard this year.
I just don't know that you can say that. I just don't know that you can say it. Of course,
nothing's for sure.
Of course, it's a risk.
That's the common thinking in baseball right now.
Oh, believe me, I know it. I absolutely know it, and I think Chris Ello probably disagrees with me or disagrees with you guys. We heard him on the roundtable talking about it yesterday. There's ways to, with guys like Vasquez, if you don't have to trade a Vasquez or a Burrito, or there's ways to manipulate innings. There's ways to get innings. There's ways to manipulate. There's ways to keep guys fresh and healthy for September, October.
But that's better when you're one of those teams that knows you're going to be there in October. If you're 7-8 games up right now, sure, trade for Garrett Crochet.
Sure. That's a good
Put
point.
him a nice month-long stint on the injured list for whatever to rest his arm and bring him back in September. When you're a team like the Padres and you've got 9 teams that are a game and a half behind you, you don't have the luxury of trading, massive prospects for an ace and then just sitting him for 2 months because, hey, yeah, we'll just wait, break him out in October.
You don't have to sit him. Like I said, there's creative strategies to all of this, man.
Which they're trying to do with Michael King already.
Right. And so
how many pitchers can you have that you're not willing to, really go out and let loose? The guys who the Padres are willing to let loose, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove,
they're hurt.
Aren't pitching at all.
Correct.
They don't have any of those workhorses anymore.
What does that tell you?
They have no workhorses.
What does that tell you? That nobody knows anything. And you watch him last night, absolutely dominant. I was on the, oh, crap, I'm nervous about it too. And I still would be nervous about it. But he's really good. I mean, he's a really, really good player. And again, if you could get him without having to give up, Leodalis DeBreeze or Ethan Salas.
Well, at the very least, one of those 4, if not 2 of them. There's no
proof to that. No.
I just don't think that for 2+ years of control for the guy as talented as he is, they're not taking Eggy and Graham Pauley, and that's it. They're not.
They might take Snelling or Lesko.
I think they're going to want more than they got for Dylan Cease.
I'm more open to trading a pitching prospect for a pitcher because you're hoping that pitching prospect turns into Garrett Crochet
or Dylan Cease.
You could just have Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
But when you talk about these younger position players who play every day, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. It is. Again, these aren't decisions that I'm going to have to make. But again, I watched last night some of his start, and I went, that is certainly tantalizing, to say the least.
Speaking of pitchers, are you willing to invest in any of them that are currently on the roster with a longer-term deal? We talked about it a little bit in the roundtable. We'll resume that discussion right after. Check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Well, guys, looks like that police activity may be wrapping up on the Coronado Bridge, but we're still showing some lane restrictions. You want to give yourself plenty of extra time if you need to get over to Coronado on that bridge. And throw it into the mix, motorcycle accident about mid-span. So, yeah, still some very tough times from the 5 on the bridge. And a little tight for you coming off the island as well. So give yourself plenty of extra time there. This is affecting that northbound 5 out of National City up toward the bridge. Southbound lane's not looking too bad. No other incidents or accidents to mention at this time. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
All right, like the rest of you, I don't know what the Padres' finances look like going forward. I don't know what's going to be authorized for spending and what's not, whether it's A.J. Preller or someone else. But you need players, and you have a few good ones who are already on your team who are approaching free agency either this year, next year, or in the foreseeable future. And we talked on the roundtable about if you're going to go out and invest in another long-term deal, and Adam says, I don't even know that they can't invest on one more long-term deal. But you want to keep Luis Ariz. You want to keep Ha-Sung Kim from becoming a free agent next season. You want to keep one of your pitchers like Dylan Cease or Michael King beyond next year. Or you want to lock up a young player like Jackson Merrill on a friendly, team-friendly deal for like a 10, 12-year contract. Where are you investing that money if there is at least some money to be invested in the next, 6 to 12 months for a long-term deal?
Honestly, and people can call in with your ideas, 833-288-0973. I look at what Dylan Cease is probably going to command, and it's exorbitant. It's exorbitant. And I look at Michael King, if he keeps it up, it could be exorbitant as well. I look at Luis Ariz as the guy that I want to keep here. I know, we talked about it yesterday. I know he doesn't have much, if any, defensive value. I know, and Craig was talking about, doesn't have much, if any, base running value. He's an elite hitter. And he does not fit, I don't think, on every single team, which is why we've seen him move around. He's such a good hitter, though, that he doesn't deserve to be on 4 teams in 5 years. And if he ends up moving on from the Padres, that's exactly what will happen. I'd like to keep him here because a couple reasons. Number one, table setter, whatever. Can play a couple of different positions for you. But also, he fits here culture-wise. He fits here because he's a good hitter, and we need good hitters. And I don't think he's going to cost a fortune.
Everything you said is pretty much right. Here's my only concern. The Padres need pitching. They don't have that much, honestly. They have the aging and now injured Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. They have Dylan Cease and Michael King, but not beyond next year. They've traded most of their top pitching prospects like Mackenzie Gore and Drew Thorpe in order to win now. Robbie Snelling and Dylan Lesko are 2 of their top 4 prospects. They're both struggling in the minor leagues this year. That may be temporary, but it also could be a sign that they're not going to break through and become big-time Major League Baseball pitchers. Who's going to pitch for this team in 2026 and 2027? Who are those guys? You can't draft them now. They won't be ready. So are you going to go out and spend in free agency? Where are you going to get pitching if you don't invest in one of these guys? And for me, it would be Michael King. I agree with you. I think Dylan Cease is great, but he's going to be paid more than he's worth. Michael King, if you did it now, you might be able to get him at at least somewhat reasonable price.
But why do I really care about who's pitching for this team in 2026 when in 2026,
Well, your top 2 players in the minor leagues are position players.
Sure.
In Salas and DeVries.
Right.
I don't know that they'll work out either, but you have some, hopefully some offense and position players coming up through the pipeline. I'm not as confident about the pitching that's coming up.
Great, but you look at how our rotation is built right now, and I don't know the kind of money they're going to have. The luxury tax resets next year, as you mentioned yesterday.
Vasquez, Brito, are they long-term rotation pieces, do you think?
Potentially. Yeah,
maybe.
they have as much potential, if not more, than a couple of the guys that you just mentioned. Are we worried that if it is A.J. Preller in charge, are we worried that he won't be able to build a rotation? because we've run out of pitching at the end of every year, but there's, for the most part, been pretty solid rotations. Some of them were overpaid, certainly. Some of them were not. Some of them were kind of steals.
Lugo and Walker were steals last year.
Absolutely.
Wish we could have kept Lugo this year.
Yep, me and you both.
And I said that at the
16
time.
mil, man, would have got it
Said
done.
that in the offseason.
Yeah.
Just
Pick
come
it
up with another couple million.
Pick it up.
Keep
do
Seth
something.
Lugo. Boy, he's been fantastic for the Royals this year.
Yeah, you saw some. We all saw something in Seth Lugo that he said, "This is not what I'm going to."
And
be
they
in."
offered. They did.
Yep.
It's not like they just said, "Well, we don't need you." They just couldn't out-offer the Kansas City Royals.
I don't need to extend Jackson Merrill right now. I think the one I'm potentially most worried about is Jurickson Profar. Like, he's going to be the one that's so interesting.
If you had said that about Fernando Tatis Jr. back a few years ago and didn't give him his statute contract,
where's he going? You would have still had him under control.
Yeah,
right now.
but he'd be much more expensive if you wanted to keep him.
And
much more expensive.
And Jackson Merrill may be in, but I just
is he worth gambling on? If you could get him right now for, buyout the first 3 or 4 years, give him 8 or 9, $200 million, and front you backload it so it wouldn't necessarily cripple you early because he's making the minimum for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think you can wait.
Give him a little more now,
him.
For less later, and it's backloaded. Do you think about that at this moment?
Oh, I think so. I think you think about it, but
I think you bet. The talent's certainly there, but you want to bet on the guys who have the right makeup, and Jackson Merrill clearly has the right makeup. I'd be stunned. I don't know if he's ever going to be a 30 to 40 home run guy, but I know he's going to be an integral cog to a team. He's just got that it factor.
Problem is this, and
like Tatis had.
The chat is going wild. Now listen, the guy that you could trade if you had to is Ha-Seong Kim. I don't want to. It's such a conundrum because you don't feel like you can pay him. You don't feel like you can.
But he's a rental player. You're not going to get much in return for Hassan.
No, I mean you could get pitching prospects, that would help restock your pitching,
right.
And then you could focus on a rise, perhaps, if you did that. Problem is, the team that needs Ha-Seong Kim probably more than any of them
is
the one that we don't want to send him
that's
to.
That's not happening.
That's the one that would probably overpay a little bit right now for Ha-Seong Kim.
Bobby Miller.
Yeah,
done.
I mean, yeah,
it's done.
They'd probably think about it too.
No, they wouldn't.
I don't know. They might.
There's no way.
They got a lot of pitching.
They do.
They do. I don't want to do it though.
I'm not doing it.
I don't want to do it.
Not doing it. It's not
Come
happening.
back. More of this conversation next. 2 of the U.S. Open is underway at Pinehurst number 2. Your guy Tyrrell Hatton, though, 3 under.
Why is he my guy?
We were talking about him earlier.
Because he's also a head case?
Yes, he likes to fly off the handle a little bit. He had a great quote yesterday, something to the effect of, U.S. Open's great because everybody loses their mind at the U.S. Open, which brings them down to my level because I do it every single week.
I lose my mind every single week. He, earlier today, hit a shot. He dropped his club. He kicked his club, and the ball wound up 4 feet from the hole. It was a perfect shot. He's one of those guys.
Rory is 2 over today. Started the final round tied with Patrick, the second round tied with Patrick Cantlay for the lead, but now it's just Cantlay sitting there waiting for another 3.5 hours to tee off. 1 shot ahead of Thomas Dietrich.
But that's usually how long he takes between shots anyway, Patrick Cantlay.
And Ludwig Oberg are both 1 shot back. Bryson's 1 over on the day. He's 2 under. There's only like 15 players under par, and it's probably going to be even less than that at the end of this day because that is a tough golf course.
Yeah, it's the greens are just nasty. They're nasty.
All right, we were continuing even inside this room discussing the possibility of an extension for one of the Padres players, and that kind of evolved into Ha-Seong Kim trade talks. I don't think any of us really thinks that Ha-Seong Kim is going to be a Padre next year. And I know that's going to disappoint a lot of fans. He is a fan favorite. He's a teammate favorite.
Bro, he is so beloved in there. Toddy loves him. Manny loves him. Xander loves him. They all love him. I mean, that's the thing. If you had all the money in the world and you could turn like in dynasty mode on MLB The Show, you have Ha-Seong Kim here for the rest of his career. Straight up. It's kind of time to. I hate to have to pick and choose, right? And you can't keep everyone. I don't know how you afford him next year, and I don't know what he's going to command. But Adam brought up the comp of Dansby Swanson, who won a World Series for the Braves. He was much better player in Atlanta, and much more dynamic with the bat. Always has had a good glove. I think still has a really good glove. But he's making $26 million a year or something in Chicago. And the San Diego Padres cannot afford to hand out a $26 million per year deal to Ha-Seong Kim. They just can't. And Ha-Seong Kim's a better player than Dansby Swanson right now. It's not fair to him. You're not going to get him on $7 million a year deal.
I know people are going, there's no way Ha-Seong Kim's going to get that much money. Remember,
he's a shortstop in the big leagues, man.
There's a lot of teams that need shortstops badly, and will probably overpay for him.
He's a good one.
Let me ask you guys a question. We don't know what happens behind closed doors, but do you believe they were shopping Ha-Seong Kim this past offseason?
Yes.
I think yes. I think absolutely.
Agreed. My point is,
why didn't anybody jump?
But doesn't that tell you what the front office thinks? If they were shopping him, doesn't that tell you they weren't going to sign him?
It tells you that the price tag was pretty high, too.
Yeah.
That no one was willing to meet what AJ was asking. He asked, but he said, I'm not just giving him away. He's good. He's a good player. We still like him. Not trying to give him away, but I
they
will
were
certainly
worried
listen.
about re-signing him.
Well, Jeter said trade him before you lose him. You can't do it. You cannot trade Ha-Seong Kim.
If Xander Bogaerts was healthy and hitting like Xander Bogaerts and hitting 290 with 12 home runs right now, you could consider it. Yep. It's tough when you know you're not going to get Xander back until late July or August, and when you get him back, you have no idea what kind of offensive player he's going to be. So for now, Padres need Ha-Seong Kim. And by the way, he's one of the reasons they've been playing a little bit later and are above 500 now because he's started to heat up and he's driving the ball, and for the most part, he's playing his good defense and occasionally makes a weird base running decision.
But occasionally makes a badass base running decision as well, like he did the other night. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. He's really, after a really slow start, has really come on lately. And I just, again, you can't lament. You can, but the grousing about signing a Xander Bogart, it just does you no good. You're locked in, man. It's wasted energy. It's already done. It's wasted energy. You got to find a way to be creative and keep the guys that you want to keep. But I do think it's a bit of a fool's errand to talk about, extending anybody right now. If our focus is on making the Padres better this season, that's what I'm interested in hearing. And I'm interested in hearing about who potential targets are. And again, just because there's a lot of smoke around Crochet, AJ could pivot a totally different direction. We've heard from Dennis Lynn. They're looking for a right-handed power arm in the bullpen, which would be fantastic. Not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Not going to cost you any of those guys you mentioned earlier. will not cost you Snelling or Lesko or DeBreeze or Salas. It's not. You can go find a right-handed power arm.
AJ's wishing he didn't give Steven Wilson up in the original deal with the White Sox.
Get him back.
Good.
Go get him.
I mean,
what's he going to cost you? They don't need him.
They don't need him. They got 17 wins this season.
Right.
Maybe 18 did they win yesterday?
They did, I think.
They have no use. They have really no use for anybody who's not part of their long-term plans. I mean, with Steven Wilson's got a couple more years of control at least, so they're not going to give him away either, I guess. But I mean, there's guys to be had out there. If you want to join us for Take on Woods, 833-288-0973. We're going to play here in just a couple of minutes. What's going to hurt with Ha-Seong Kim if you don't trade him is there's a really good chance he's playing for one of your rivals next year.
Oh, he's a Giant or a Dodger. Yeah,
very
sure.
likely. I mean, it makes a ton of sense for either of those teams. It makes sense for Ha-Seong Kim to stay on the West Coast with the Giants. He's got his best bud, Jung Ho Lee, who's already on the team with the Dodgers. There's familiarity there. There's a huge Asian fan base with the Dodgers already. They'll take Japan. Why not take Korea as well? It'll just be sad to hear all our Korean play-by-play guys now calling Dodger games and getting
Homers
all excited.
against us.
Going, oh, that's gonna hurt.
Wesley says unless Musgrove and you are not coming back, they don't need another starter. I couldn't disagree more, Wesley. I love you. But this team is always, 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 always in need of another starting pitcher, as is the Philadelphia Phillies, as is the Los Angeles Dodgers, as is the New York Yankees. Everybody could use another starting pitcher. The Padres are no different whatsoever in that. So you and Joe are a bit of a question mark, probably Joe more than you right now, but I think you absolutely got to go out and get another starter and get that power arm in the bullpen. And I'd be fairly okay, Benny, with letting the chips fall where they may on the offensive side of the ball right now. I do think pitching is where you need to have your focus.
You could get better offensively pretty easily without doing anything.
Yeah,
you're
correct.
already getting better without doing anything.
Yeah.
Tatis is doing more. Kim is doing
Solano's
more.
doing more.
You still have Manny. Plenty of
opportunity for a ceiling there.
Untapped offense that we haven't seen yet. Bogarts could come back and do more when he gets back. There's more offense to be had for the San Diego Padres. Jackson Merrill only seems to be getting a little bit better as he goes on. He may get tired at some point in a rookie season. Never played anywhere near 162 games like this, and he's on pace for 155 or 6 at this point. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you. If you can ride with the offense a little bit easier, pitching the lessons of 2021 cannot be forgotten,
and 20
as well. I mean, that was a short year and they ran out of pitching.
And
in 2021, when Vince Velasquez,
Jake
Arrieta were eating up
it's dark times,
important starts in the second half of the year.
And not many innings, by the way.
No.
From those guys. Those were dark. And I know there's been some dark days in Padres history. Those were pretty rough. We expected a much better team that year, certainly.
And you say, well, that can't happen again. They have Vasquez and they have Waldron and they could have other pitchers coming back. They're a little close to the edge as it is right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can bring up Snelling and Lesko aren't ready. They're not even pitching well in the minors. There's no one else knocking on the door to be a starter. You are worried about inning limits or at least innings soft limits for King. I mean, who knows? Morejon is. I mean, I don't think they're thinking about him as a starter.
No, but you're still in the bullpen. You're still worried about innings limits with him.
How much does Waldron have? What's Waldron's career high in innings? I mean, other than Darvish, your innings eaters were supposed to be Darvish and Musgrove, and neither of them are eating any innings right now.
It's truly, when you put it like that, it is like, all right, it's pretty crazy that we're even 2 games over 500. I mean, with 0 contributions really from those guys. Not a lot. Certainly not
pitching's
consistent.
the need.
Yeah, pitching is the need.
All right, we'll come back to some more Padres talk a little bit later. Right now, I see some callers on the line. Let's get to one final game of the week. It is time to take on Woods. Joe, you are contestant today. Thank you for calling. Thank you for playing. How are you? Morning. All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Woods has left the studio. You'll go first, 5 questions of musical trivia. Woods will go second. If you beat or even tie him, we will put you into our grand prize drawing for a 2-night stay at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. Tickets to either Hootie and the Blowfish or Smashing Pumpkins at the Blue Live Theater, and a $150 poolside dining credit. Summer room packages, tickets available now at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. All right, you get to choose the category, Joe. Here are your options. It's not false. Think of what the opposite of false is in that category. It ain't nothing. Those are song titles that begin with the word something. And she's a lady. Those are 5 song titles that start with she's. So it's not false, it ain't nothing, or she's a lady. Joe, what would you like to play?
It ain't nothing.
It ain't nothing. Okay, so we got song titles. They all begin with the word something. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We can come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is our 2-second song. Adam's going to play a little bit of music. You need to try to identify both the song title and the artist to score that point. Joe, are you ready to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
Adam, you ready? All right. Category, it ain't nothing. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Adam plays our music. Good luck, Joe. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
In 2017, the Chainsmokers and Coldplay teamed up to release which top 10 hit?
Pass.
Which 1991 Nirvana song re-entered the Billboard charts in 2022 when it appeared in the movie The Batman?
Something in the way.
Correct. Which Etta James classic is sampled by Flo Rida in their hit Good Feeling, as in a feeling I never had before?
Pass.
Tim McGraw fondly recalls an old crush with a barbecue stain on her white T-shirt in which country mega hit from 1999?
Something like that.
Correct. Go back to our 2-second song.
And the next one.
In 2017, the Chainsmokers and Coldplay teamed up to release which... Oh, you did get 2.
Just like this.
Oh, just after the buzzer. It is something just like this. You got 2. It's a tough category. I don't know. It could keep you in play here. So the 2-second song, well, actually one of my favorites. It's Something About You by Level 42. You got Something in the Way and Something Like That. Something's Got a Hold on Me is Etta James / Flo Rida. So, all right, we got Woodsy coming in. Joe's score is locked in. Joe, put you back on hold, and we will come back to you at the end if you are a qualifier. All right, 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods doesn't get the category. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Joe.
Something About You. Pass.
In 2017, the Chainsmokers and Coldplay teamed up to release which top 10 hit?
Pass.
In 1991, which Nirvana song re-entered the Billboard charts in 2022 when it appeared in the movie The Batman?
Nirvana song? In Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Come As You Are.
Incorrect. Which Etta James classic is sampled by Flo Rida in their hit Good Feeling, as in a feeling I've never had before?
At Last?
Incorrect.
Is
Tim
that not
McGraw
Etta
fondly
James? I'm
recalls an
dead.
old crush with a barbecue stain on her white T-shirt in which country mega hit from 1999?
I'm like Wandy Peralta right now. I don't know.
Does this ever happen? Let's go back to
Did I
our
get
2-second
blanked?
song. You got the
Something
title.
About You.
What's the band?
Oh, my God.
The category might help you at this point.
Wow. Is that an O for? First O for
a
ever?
shutout. I don't think Woods has ever been shut out. Joe, 2-0. Congratulations on the win. Category was called It Ain't Nothing. Every song title started with the word something. So
Okay,
you got Something About You by Level 42.
Oh.
It's a one-hit wonder.
Yep.
Something Just Like This by Chainsmokers and Coldplay. Come on, you know that one. Something in the Way is Nirvana.
Love that song, too. I did not know it was in that movie.
Something's Got a Hold on Me by Etta James, and that's the
Does
Flo
Etta
Rida.
James sing At Last?
She does.
She does, okay.
And Something Like That from Tim McGraw. Congratulations, Joe.
You know, my changeup was up. My fastball was...
Sometimes it happens.
I had the flu.
Yeah, whatever.
Been up since 1 a.m. No excuse. I'm not going to alibi any of that, though. That was
Aaron
embarrassing.
Nola gave up 11 hits and 8 runs and
It's embarrassing.
3 2/3 yesterday. It happens to the greats.
Is that history? Have I never been shut out?
I don't think you've ever been shut out in this game.
God.
Joe, hang on line. Adam will get all your information during the break.
I'm embarrassed right now.
Crazy on a Friday, too.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do this. Has already started, apparently. We'll continue it next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Wow.
Ouch. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com. And a special doo-doo thank you to Craig Elston.
A doo-doo thank you?
A doo-doo this thank you.
You said a doo-doo thank you.
That's true. DD Mega Doo-Doo. I
A
mentioned
doo-doo thank you is the worst kind of thank you can get.
I was kind of asking, like, how many innings does Matt Waldron have in him? Because he's going to be well over his career high on the major league level. But Craig texted me and said, last year, if you combine his AAA and minor league, his AAA and major league innings, through 134 innings. So he can
build on that.
He should be pretty much able to go a full season for the Padres this year. Now, knock on wood, stay healthy, cross your fingers. But that's why he's been such an important addition to the Padres this year. All right, you get us started with Don't Do This.
All right, this is a little bit visual, but something happened last night. There's that saying in baseball, be humble or you will get humbled. I don't know if I've ever seen a better example of this in my entire life. Gentlemen, it's the Gwinnett Stripers taking on the Memphis Redbirds, I believe. And they are down, playing minor league baseball, and Memphis is leading 3-0. Number 5 steps to the plate, and this happens.
Out 2. 1-1 pitch. Perez launches this one out to left center. And the wind, oh my goodness, going to knock it down.
He thought that was gone.
So did I. Malloy makes the catch.
So,
Perez, I think,
not the first time a guy has hit one and thought he had it. Might be the first time a guy has gotten all the way to third base and past third base before he realized, I actually didn't get it. He hit it.
I want to hear the rest of the call.
It's not great. It's just, go ahead. You can play the rest,
they said what he did, right?
Yeah.
Just one out to left center. And the wind, oh my goodness, going to knock it down.
He thought that was gone.
Yeah,
so did I. Malloy makes the catch. Perez, I think,
still running.
Still thinks it's out.
Yep.
Oh,
He's going around the bases.
He thinks it's gone.
Yeah.
No.
He gave like the I love you sign after he hit short, right around shortstop. Gave the I got it. Hit third base, was trotting.
Who's supposed to tell him when it's not gone? You're supposed to put your head down and go. I mean, supposed to watch and admire.
Now he hit it and he pimped it. He pimped the S out of it.
It looked like it was gone.
And it did. I mean, he got all of it, but the wind knocked it down, and it was a good 20 feet short of the guy did not make a play on it. I mean, he didn't have to climb the wall or anything.
So the outfielder did. He turned his back for a second. The old, this is so far gone. And then
he's
by the time
on the dirt, the very front edge of the dirt when he gets it. So he's about 10 feet from the wall. And he hit third base after he hit third base, he realized, I didn't get it. A little embarrassing. Going to get worn out for that. Yeah. For the rest of the week. Yeah, for sure.
All right. For my Don't Do This, this is a story I kind of remember from a little while ago. It was back in January of 2023 that former quarterback Bernie Kosar for the Cleveland Browns lost his job as their pregame show host. And I remember there was it was like a gambling thing or something, and I didn't give it another thought until now. When the story has come out, Bernie is actually suing because the reason he lost his job, according to this lawsuit, is that he had like a deal on the pregame show with a company called Big Play LLC. And part of the deal was Kosar was supposed to make a charity wager. And he was supposed to bet $19,000 on the Browns to beat the Steelers. And then if they won, the money would go to charity. If it lost, no big deal. It's not his money. It was just kind of a symbolic, let's do this to try to have fun and maybe raise some money for charity. But because he gambled on an NFL game and that was at odds with like the radio contract, you're not supposed to gamble on the teams that you're covering, they fired him. And Bernie's going, but it wasn't my money. I had no chance to win or lose.
Yeah, it was not.
I shouldn't be fired for this. I was just really doing my job and trying to raise money for charity. I was trying to do a good thing. Ooh. And he ended up losing his job because of it. He's seeking more than $900,000 in damages.
Is that even
is that what pregame show hosts make
now?
Yeah,
is that what they're making?
Sammy making $900,000?
Sam Levitt? Good Lord.
No, that's way too low.
God. Actually, Sammy would be worth it. Sammy works hard enough to earn that kind of money, certainly. Is it even black and white?
There's a little gray here.
This gray,
There's some
feels
gray
like there's
here.
some gray. Hey, don't bet. Okay, I didn't. Well, you placed this wager.
Are you betting? If it's not your money,
are you betting?
And you can't win, and you can't lose, are you really betting?
It's like it feels like it shouldn't be that much of a conundrum. Well, it says here in the rules you can't bet, but I didn't.
I mean, if you go to the Super Bowl and like radio hosts do it all the time. Hey, we'll bet fish tacos in San Diego against your clam chowder in
New England.
Boston.
We don't have a team, so
we don't have a team, but
so
then fine. In the World Series, when we play the Red Sox, we'll bet fish tacos against clam chowder. Is that betting or is it not betting? It's just a fun radio segment and bit that they're doing.
But we're allowed to bet. I hope.
I don't know. Maybe we're not. We're flagship station. Maybe
you're
not allowed to bet on Padres games. Have you ever bet? You've never bet on a Padres game, obviously.
What kind of dummy would put their hard-earned money on the San Diego Padres 4 to 5 times a week?
Well, you're not on the pregame show.
Correct.
Now you can never put him on the pregame show, Adam, though, unfortunately.
Darn.
So.
Not a team employee.
Yeah, not a team employee.
Maybe Bernie was a team employee. I think that's maybe
probably
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
team employees prohibited from placing bets.
All right, even if they're fake bets that
even
can't
fake
win you
bets,
any money.
Apparently, yes.
All right, let's get to do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
I think Kelly sent this over to me this morning and said, would love your guys' thoughts on this. And I said, I like Brooks Koepka. I'm a Brooks Koepka fan. He's very surly. He's kind of bitchy. Reminds me a lot of myself.
Not traits that I particularly appreciate.
Well, especially in a golfer. You're more of a Patrick Cantlay guy.
Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler. A very pleasant guy. Even though he's been arrested. I don't think Brooks has ever been arrested.
That's a good point.
Right. Yeah. 1-0. So this is great. So he had even par 70 in his opening round. He had 3 late bogeys, though. So he declined media interviews after this first round. And people obviously thought, well, so the round gets away from you and you don't want to talk to the media. That's kind of a D move. So he decided, one of the reporters, Eamon Lynch decides, I'll just text him because I've got his number. He says, you opted not to do media interviews in the first round. Why? He goes, I opted not to do them because I didn't feel like it. Same questions every week. The lack of creativity with questions is kind of boring. I know I'm not a media favorite either, so it's not like anyone will notice, LOL. And then Eamon says, well, how creative should questions be when asking someone about a round of golf? Is this just your bulletin board material for the week so you can fire yourself up? He said, no, it's not. It's a major. I've got enough self-motivation. I can think of way more creative questions. Do you think the course is borderline? What happened on those bogeys? What went well? Then some Live versus PGA Tour questions. And so they go back and forth for a while. I actually thought it was brilliant. And what did he say? He said... Yeah, so then basically Eamon starts asking the questions. Any issues with the course setup today, or do you foresee any problems with the heat coming? I thought it was good. I don't see any problems if greens stay the same. They go back and forth, and it ends basically by him saying, look, I just didn't feel like doing it. I just didn't want to do media today.
And he did a text interview.
Which
maybe
is
that would be
great.
easier. If Mike Shildt wants to do a text interview today at 9 o'clock, maybe we try it that way. I guess why I don't like this is that Brooks is mad because the questions are unoriginal and uninteresting. But when you try to make them original and interesting, then the subject sometimes will push back and
he gets kind of pissy.
They'll get kind of mad about it.
Yeah.
To do your job in the media requires you sometimes to ask boring questions.
Oh, don't we know it?
Because you have to let the person have their own chance to respond to whatever's happening. And you may not get a good answer, and that's fine, but you may be surprised and get a great answer from something that you just ask kind of the regular questions. You kind of have to go through those regular questions, and then maybe after you hear an answer, then you can follow up with something more interesting as you go along. But it kind of has to start with the normal, boring questions to begin with.
The end of it was great. They're talking, and Eamon says, well, we can test that theory tomorrow. Creatively, of course. Brooks writes back, you're not creative. Y-O-U-R. Eamon writes back, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Brooks responds, thanks, Dad. And that's the end of the interview. I thought it was fantastic. And I don't know. I've always been a big fan of Brooks. I am. I know he's surly, but I like that about him.
He's real.
He's an interesting, for golf, you get 50 of the guys that are the same guy, basically, and then you get one that's a little bit different. I like him.
He tees off in a couple hours, as you said. Even par for the day. By the way, Scotty, 3 over now. It's the first time all year in any tournament he's been 3 over par in anything. So, not exactly. He's more on the cut line than the leaderboard
Scotty?
at this point. Yeah.
Ooh, where is he?
He's tied for 60th at 3 over par. After a couple of bogeys, he's 2 over through 10 holes today. So he better not have a bad back nine, or he won't even be around for the weekend. It will be a huge shocker.
I'm not rooting against him because he's hard to root against, but I'm also not going to be mad if he doesn't win this tournament. I think it'd be fun to see somebody else win it. But he has been dominant. He has been very dominant.
Xander has moved into the top 10. 1 under today, 1 under for the tournament. So he's still alive for 2 straight major titles. And that's Don't and Do This for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
An off day in New York is a little bit different. The Fan.
on a off day in New York City?
Well, I'm
Watch Sports Center?
No, I'm taking advantage of the dining scene.
What if you had a game that night? You're not going to go suck down a bunch of...
No, you said an off day. So
Okay, so yesterday.
on an off day, yesterday, I'm definitely checking out, the bagels and cream cheese and New York City pizza and then a nice dinner somewhere at a high-class Manhattan restaurant. Assuming I'm making a lot of money because I'm a Major League Baseball
So
player.
you're just on you're on your Eat Her app
Yes,
all
exactly.
day, finding the best bagel, then the best pizza,
Yep.
and then the best dinner.
Yeah, that's my plan.
That's it. What do you do between?
Walk.
Just walk?
Yeah,
Walk the city?
walk the city.
What about you, Kluger? Find a ESPN Sports Zone?
I'd say same thing. I used to work in New York City, so I've been there. But
Yeah.
yeah, walking around, going through the park.
Where'd you live when you lived?
I lived in New Jersey, but I commuted into Manhattan for 5 years.
Took the train.
How many fake watches did you buy on Canal Street? Zero. Surprises me. Used to do that.
You think I'm that kind of guy?
Well, I used to do that. We used to do that all the time. Go up there and get the fake tags and the fake Rolexes. It lasts like 3 weeks, but it's always fun to do. We used to buy in New York City. I always got a kick out of walking down the street, and they had like all these movies that you could buy, and you could buy them on. I think it was VHS at the time. You're like, dude, yes, look at this. This movie.
The ones where they went into the theater
Correct.
and then camcordered it. And
But
then
when you're 12, you don't know that. You just think this is a bootleg copy of what was a hot movie when we were 12, Ben. I would, buy it, give the guy like
The
20
Goonies.
bucks. No, that was way before that.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, something that came after we were 12. But something that was like out in theaters. You're like, oh my God, I can get this on the street, a bootleg. You give the guy 20 bucks. You take it home, you put it in the VCR, and it's him sitting in the theater with a camcorder, and you can hear nothing and see nothing. And you learn.
We were 10 when the Goonies came out.
We were
not
10?
12.
Yeah.
But.
So you feel it's like your first lesson into not being a mark. Everybody has to go through it, but then you're like, all right, I'm not doing that again. You learn. You live and learn.
So, yeah, there's a little more to do on an off day in New York City than probably
Cincinnati.
your standard Cincinnati, St. Louis road trip. Jeremiah Estrada took big-time advantage of being in the Big Apple yesterday, though. What did he do? Find out after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Some of you out there are saying, come on, Kelly, give me some good news. Okay, I will. Speeds are starting to pick up now on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island. Yeah, that police activity wrapped up a little over half an hour ago, and that motorcycle accident in the clearing stage at mid-span. So yeah, improvements there. Still a bit of a backup though, and heading off the island, you're not going to have any problems. Fortunately, no other incidents or accidents to mention. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows even the trip out of Santee, westbound 52, just some minor slowing. The daily jackpots at Viejas Casino and Resort are on fire. Players have hit huge wins with bets as low as 50 cents. Check out their jackpot winning smiles on the Viejas Facebook page. Want to join them? Who knows? The next jackpot winner could be you, Viejas Casino and Resort. I need to get back out there. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the San Diego County Fair. Let's go retro at the San Diego County Fair now through July 7th. The magic of the Midway Live concerts and a nostalgic celebration of fashion, culture, and more. Buy your tickets online. Learn what's happening at sdfair.com. That's sdfair.com. So I think kind of like Adam, Jeremiah Estrada spent his off day in New York actually in Secaucus, New Jersey. Isn't that where the MLB Network studios are located?
I thought it was Secaucus.
Secaucus, New Jersey. I thought it was Secaucus.
I thought it was Secaucus. Adam, you tell us.
Secaucus.
Is it Secaucus? I've always heard Secaucus.
And went to the MLB Tonight set and sat down with the MLB Tonight crew for a couple of segments. A long interview, sat at the desk. With Pedro and Greg Amsinger and Harold Reynolds were there, just kind of finding out his story, where he came from. Kind of, for most people, including a lot of Padres fans, Jeremiah Estrada is an unknown quantity. Where did this guy come from? Why was he designated for assignment last year and all of a sudden breaking the all-time record for consecutive strikeouts this year? That doesn't usually happen. If a guy has that much talent, the team that he was on before doesn't just let him go.
I mean, especially a team like the Cubs that, what team doesn't need a Jeremiah Estrada on it? It just doesn't make any sense.
So it's a fascinating story. And he's got this pitch which he explained to Pedro Martinez in great detail. They went on to their little mini baseball diamond set where they started throwing some pitches to Harold Reynolds and working on the grip with Pedro.
The chitter.
The chitter, yeah, the change-up splitter combination with his it's like a forkball. The thumb's not even on it, and it's the pinky on. And he was trying to show Pedro exactly how to do it. Pedro goes, "This feels weird."
It looks impossible to throw, and you cannot believe he throws it for strikes. It is truly. It's like the Vulcan change, but it's different. It's just, I don't get it. I could never do it. I could never throw a splitter. I could never even throw a splitter like in messing around with my buddies. I can't imagine putting them between your middle finger and your ring finger and jamming the ball through there. It was incredible to watch last night.
But he said, he even in the studio on a half speed, he said getting some movement, and Pedro was getting some good movement.
It's nuts. Those guys are freaks
on the chitter.
They're freaks.
So there were a few questions they asked him, and as we have learned, Jeremiah Estrada has always been a big gamer. Big fan of video games and spends a lot of time when he's not on the baseball diamond playing video games. And they actually were fascinated by this. Here's what he had to say about his love of MLB The Show.
Interesting. We're here with Jeremiah Estrada, the center man of the San Diego Padres, joining us as a special guest in studio tonight on MLB Tonight. You knew that he's a good low ball hitter. At what point, and maybe you already did this, when you showed up here in New York, you're taking on the New York Mets this weekend. When do you guys meet and go through what your opposition this weekend, what their tendencies are at the plate? Has that already happened, or will it happen tomorrow?
It will happen tomorrow. Usually, of course, like we all have our pitchers meeting and just go over, the power parts of where the hitters, the hot zones, where that is. But I'm not gonna lie, the reason why I know he is a good low ball hitter is because of MLB The Show, and because he's one of my favorite cards. Most of my hits and home runs with his card are always on the low pitches. Kid you not?
Wow. I'm telling you, the video game is giving him his intel.
Well,
yes, that is factual. They play.
So be honest. When you're on the mound, have you ever thought about MLB The Show? Like when you're facing a guy?
No, I won't give it to that.
You won't get that deep.
No, never.
We're gonna put you on the cover. Keep talking, man.
This is interesting. I'm into this.
It's really interesting.
But I've heard some guys who use MLB The Show as his hot zone or his cold zones, the low and away heaters or low and away, and some people will say that. Even my buddies that I play with, they're always like, hey, you're gonna face, whoever, Judge this weekend, his cold zone's away in the slider. I'm like, okay. And the next thing you know, I went fastball, change of fastball, and that was it. And I didn't even know the slider. So I was like, and that's my buddy's favorite player, too.
Talk about new generation of players.
Right? Yeah, but
talk about being young and new generation. That's good, though, that you guys are at least paying attention to the little details. And that's one that I wasn't expecting, but, hey, great for you.
Well, I think what it does, though, and honestly, I've heard this from a lot of ball players that played in the 70s and 80s, and they said one thing that the players of today are missing, like all of them, to a man, said after a baseball game, we would play, no matter what team they played for, the Reds, the Phillies, the Pirates, didn't matter. After the game, they would sit their asses in the clubhouse for an extra 2 hours, and what they would do is they would talk about the game. How did that go? What
and
did
drink
you do?
beer.
And drink beer and blast heaters and stuff, but they have all said that's something that's missing from the game. I honestly believe that things like this probably helps keep them engaged in baseball a little bit,
yeah.
right?
And
they're talking about the game.
You can question. How accurate are the video game hot zones? But they're based on some reality.
Yeah, of course.
They have access to the same hot and cold zones that Major League Baseball teams. I would hope the Padres' actual analytics are a little more detailed and a little more insightful than just playing a video game. But why not? As the start of your base of knowledge, I've played this guy many times on MLB The Show, and I know at least where the video game says he has trouble hitting pitches. So, guys can't just change their hot zones on a whim. Guy doesn't hit the ball, high and tight very well. You can learn that just based on playing the video game.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I thought that was really interesting. I thought he did a really, really nice job on there last night.
He's very personable.
He's very personable. What's the other clip you have, Adam?
He talks about just kind of his story about where he's coming from.
How he got here.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating. Whenever you're ready.
He's giving the signal. He wants you to vamp for a second.
I didn't know. I didn't
give
see
him a
signal.
moment to call up the clip.
So we just wait in silence.
Right.
Can't believe you're doing this to me.
Likewise.
I wouldn't have been able to do this.
Question for you, so here we're going to get into it. What kept him motivated to better himself after last year? Also want to say, very glad he's a Padre. The way he interacts with the fans shows how much he cares. Okay, that's very nice, Zachary. Thank you. All right, so what is your motivation?
Failure. I think that's the biggest motivation that you could have. Of course, last year was a bit of an upset year for me, and I take failure just extremely, to the heart, and as soon as I fail at something, I want to be better at it. If I'm gonna lose at something, right now, if I lost in rock, paper, scissors, I'll tell you behind stage, hey, let's run it back. I need to win.
Wow.
One of those.
What was your path? What was your path to the big leagues? 'Cause that comes from, you had some setback, obviously.
Oh yeah, lots of setbacks. Drafted 2017, pitched 5 innings that year, and then 2018 came along, getting ready to start the 2018 season, and sprained my UCL. They were like, hey, you're young, so you can miss this year. I was like, okay, I'll rehab it, go on, and then missed an entire year. Didn't even go home because as soon as season ended, I just started the spring training camps, or the camps leading to spring training.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2019 was kind of feeling better. Then went to Eugene, Oregon, pitched 10 innings.
Let's go Ducks.
And
just saying.
And then that's when I tore my UCL. And then they kept me there to rehab and to kind of like throw again. And then ended up getting TJ in August. And then
so 2 years gone.
Yeah, 2 years gone, just like that. Then I was locked and loaded. I got a trainer, was ready to. I was just motivated, And then 2020 got canceled. And then 2021 started off in Myrtle Beach, but they had me go a little bit later because that was the year coming off of TJ. And I pitched 7 innings, and then I got COVID. And then after COVID came back in 2022, and I knew, after surviving COVID, what I was meant to do, which is, hey,
So you had long COVID.
Oh yeah, that was
10-day deals.
Oh no, I was in the hospital. I had every single thing that you could have gone.
Yeah, you almost
The
died.
doctor literally told me, he's like, hey, you've gone like every stage on what a COVID or a person that has COVID could have gone. The only thing you missed out was death.
Unreal.
It's unbelievable.
So it was a scary moment,
First
but,
4 big league seasons, or minor league seasons, professional baseball season, he pitched a combined 17 innings. 17 innings in 4 years.
And now we know why.
It's unbelievable.
Actually,
Wow.
22
22
innings.
4 seasons, 22
Amazing.
innings, and look at him now. He deserves all the
you
the accolades.
At some point, you're thinking, okay, someone's telling me that I shouldn't be a baseball player.
Yeah, man.
After all of that,
Yeah.
and yet he persisted. Then got DFA'd by the Cubs after finally, making it, and they didn't want him. And now here he is with the Padres as a rising setup man with a Major League Baseball record and a pretty bright future ahead of him as, potential maybe a closer in the future. If things keep going the way they're going for Jeremiah Estrada.
They were trying to bust his balls, too, when the segment started about Shildt making him walk. Who was
intentional
the,
walk
intentional walk.
to end the streak. Yeah.
And he handled it perfectly. He's like, Shildt told me to do it. I did it. I don't, at the end of the day, it's kind of like what Tatis said. Like, we'll just start a new streak. Like, we'll just run it back. But he didn't really. They wore him out. Every one of those guys was like, why'd you have to do the walk? Why didn't Cease do the walk? And he's just like, it's all right. It's what the manager asked me to do. Seems to be a really good kid, man, and obviously can overcome adversity. What a story. Great story.
Amazing stuff. All right, we'll come back. We'll start the second half with our Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday. Jordan Schusterman will join us. We'll talk about what's going on around Major League Baseball.
He's excited to talk about one Jackson Merrill.
Oh, good. Well, I'm excited always to talk about Jackson Merrill. That is coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Got the skipper, Mike Shildt, coming up in an hour. I'm Woodsy. That's Adam Clug filling in for Paul Reindl. It's also his birthday. Happy birthday, Adam. And Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
2 more hours, then it's the weekend. You can get yourself a nice big bottle of Shiraz and
walk around
with it all day. And
I may go
drink
back.
wine.
I may go back to Wine Woods here pretty soon. I'm teetering on the edge here, man. I really am. I'm teetering on the edge.
Maybe a Malbec. What are we thinking
whatever,
today
man.
for Woodsy? Wine Friday.
I have to. I don't have to. I get to play in a golf tournament today, which I have not swung the wrenches in 4 months, and I went and swung it on the range yesterday. Best range session of my life.
Wow.
Makes no sense.
No, that's what golf does.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing. And then today, very obviously, since I had a good range session, I'll be terrible. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Congratulations on the bad round.
It's a scramble, so just make a couple putts. It'll be fine.
Let's see. We're just cooking dinner tonight, I believe. Do you still use your Blackstone?
Yeah.
You do.
Not as much as I used to.
Yeah, I know you used it a ton. Or Shelly kind of wants to get one, and I wanted to see if it's holding up. And
it's hold up great.
Okay.
I need to replace the propane, and I'm too lazy to do so.
You have to go down to Home Depot. It's right down the street.
I understand.
Go to the back there.
I know exactly how to do
All
it.
right.
It's just that I haven't done it. So,
well, that's enough vamping. It looks like we do have Jordan Schusterman with us from Cespedes Family Barbecue. It is brought to you by Grand Ole Barbecue on a Friday. Always happy to see Jordan, even 2 weeks in a row, filling in for Jake today. Good morning, Jordan.
I can't hear him.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy.
It's been a minute here. I know I was on last week, but this is always a pleasure to go back-to-back weeks with you guys.
It's good to have you, my friend. I got a text from Paulie, who's out sick today, and he said, Jordan's coming on tomorrow. Jake's busy with the College World Series. Jordan wants to talk some Jackson Merrill. And I said, man, what a great topic of conversation he is.
Yeah, guys. I mean, this is a situation where I think when he gets the job, right, at a camp, you get really excited, but you also kind of have to temper expectations when you realize what he's dealing with, right? I mean, it was so. I remember the conversation you had with you guys in spring where he was like, "Yeah, I haven't played center field in my life before 5 minutes ago."
Yeah,
and now
incredible.
When you watch what he's doing, it's astonishing. It's an astonishing defensively, and now we're seeing him getting the results on offense as well.
I think a month into the season, I said, man, he bailed out a lot of people. He bailed them out. I mean, straight up. And of course, you know, teams move guys around. We see it. Guys get converted from catchers to second baseman and second baseman to relievers. We've seen it in baseball. It's nothing new, Jordan. But when you looked at what the San Diego Padres had spent in previous seasons and what they had to work with, you're like, all right, we're going to try this kid out there because he's tall and he's athletic and he's got some legs and, you know, he's a shortstop so he can see the ball and field the ball. He really bailed them out, man. He really did, defensively and offensively so far. And, you know, I think credit goes to the player, but I think credit also goes to, you know, the guys that said, all right, we really think he can do it, but it all goes to him. I mean, he's a big leaguer for the first time playing out of position. How terrifying that must be on a daily, well, until he's, you know, got used to it. How terrifying was that for him? It's insane.
100%. And also when you think about, I mean, the defense is worthy of highlighting specifically, and the fact that he's made that transition is unbelievable. But let's also remember, it's not like he had played 500 minor league games either. And so from an offensive standpoint, the degree to which he's been able to get comfortable is pretty wild. I would say that the other thing is, when you start to see this week, is the power, right? Because that's something. It's not like he had gaudy home run totals. He had a good contact and a good, you know, overall hitter. Man, like, he's got the juice. You know, he's got real pop when he's in. And he said, you know, yeah, maybe you gotta go when you get the rare spin for Mason Miller, but the homer he hits the dead center, and just, he's an amazing player. And the last thing I'll say about him is, talking to people around the game, we know AJ's in theory willing to trade anybody. Merrill seemingly has been fully off limits all along, and it seems like we're seeing why.
Yeah, I saw someone saying, "Oh, if the Oakland A's are going to trade Mason Miller to the Padres, they're going to want Jackson Merrill." It's like, ha,
pass,
right?
Hard pass, man. What are we talking about here?
No chance. I agree.
Mason Miller is not what the Padres need right now.
No, not at all.
I agree with you, Jordan. I'm an optimist, and I was stunned by the home run that he hit, not the walk-off. the first one against a left-hander. It's his first homer ever against a left-hander. And the fact that it went to center and 400 feet, I thought, yeah, in 3 years, maybe Jackson Merrill will be able to do that if everything goes right. I didn't think that was something that could happen yet. I was going to be patient with Jackson Merrill, and now he's accelerating my timeline as to what is possible in the Jackson Merrill universe.
Yeah, and I think you see this with some talent across the league when we're talking about the best of the best of the best, because there are a lot of guys that will get to the major league level, and it takes them time to get adjusted. It takes them time to become the best version of themselves. And then other times you have situations like Gunnar Henderson, where it's like, all right, I'm rookie of the year, and now I'm an MVP.
Yeah.
You know, like it can't happen that quickly. And I think with Merrill, there's still reason to expect it could take a little bit longer for him to get to maybe all-star status or whatever, but he's awesome. And as you said, he saved their ass, right? Like,
he did.
This is not
really
just that he's been good, but he bailed them out. And I think I would say Profar is part of this too, when you think about how worried we were about what left field was going to be for them. So that's even more wild. But both of those guys, when you think about where we thought their outfield situation was to where it is now, which is one of the best in baseball, is pretty amazing.
It really is staggering when you think about it too. And the contributions, talking to our pal Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue here, the contributions from Jurickson Profar, I mean, there's not enough superlatives for him, not enough superlatives for Jackson Merrill. Jake Cronenworth's production, the first part of the season has been an outstanding turnaround, really getting some nobody really expected this from any of these guys. And of course, some of the stars, Tatis finally starting to hit like a star, but Manny has not done anything this year. Xander, of course, is hurt. It really has been, they've really grinded hard, is what I've been saying, to be 2 games above 500. I mean, they've expended a ton of energy and gotten lucky in some cases to be 2 games over.
Yeah, but as we've talked about, guys, over 500 in the National League is elite,
yeah,
right?
It's elite.
This is you should be appreciating just how awesome it is, and we'll see, right? It'll be interesting as they go on this road trip here. They play a little bit better at home recently, but we've seen them have success on the road, and now we'll see them at the Mets and Phillies, and another good test for them to stay, because if you can't stay above 500, you are going to be relevant.
I just thought about it. All of the Padres J players are overperforming. Jurickson, Jackson, Jake, and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Are the, so Jordan, it's good. You
Jordan,
should be on Padres.
yes,
you should be having a great,
guys,
season right now.
We got to get Jose Zokar going.
Jose,
let's get his bat.
Hard J.
I know he's someone. Right. Yeah. There you go. It's a little bit of a difference, but that's one I would love to see more from.
So we've been talking pitching this morning, and I agree with you. I don't think Mason Miller is exactly the answer, but the Padres do need pitching, both now and in the future. With obviously, Joe Musgrove.
Got to get him going.
We got to get him going too. Another J guy. Yu Darvish on the injured list, and just the depth has not been there. There's one guy out there for next year. Woods brought this up during the break that could solve a lot of problems for the Padres. Roki Sasaki. And I know a lot of people think, he's going to be a Dodger. You guys cover some of the stuff. I know the other R Sasaki, you were writing about Rintaro Sasaki. He's even younger, though. But Roki's the next one coming over. With the success of some of these Japanese pitchers, the market for him, if he does come to the United States, is going to be, every team's going to want him if they can get him. What do you know? What do you think when it comes to Roki Sasaki next season?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be wild, and honestly, I have to get a little bit more closely familiarizing with the situation in terms of the market from a cap, because I believe if he comes over next year, that it wouldn't be a free for all.
No, it would be the international signing bonus limits. Yeah, so it would be more where does he want to play as opposed to how much he wants to play for.
Exactly, it's a different kind of free for all, because in theory it opens it up to even more teams. So
like Ohtani
I imagine they'll do the full court press and do their best to show why they need it more than anybody else, and why hopefully they are a place for him to succeed moving forward. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to to get him away from the Dodgers, to get him away from some of the other teams that are going to be pursuing him. I hate to say it, but talent-wise, yeah, he's perfect for every team.
Well, and Ben this morning has been talking about who pitches in 26 and 25, and I'm really still interested in this year and what can happen. Yes. And, you had some tweets about Garrett Crochet last night, and he was pitching against your beloved Mariners, and he pitched very well, to say the least, against your Mariners. And we're talking about it in here. He's been connected to the San Diego Padres, Jordan. He doesn't look risky. I mean, when you watch him pitch, you don't go, "Oh, that guy's a risk." He looks fantastic, man. But you just got to wonder how much is in the tank and what they're going to ask for him. The rumors are they're going to ask for more than they got for Dylan Cease, for a guy that has 4 more innings left to match his career total. So I really don't know what to do if you're AJ Preller or the White Sox GM. I have no idea how much that changes it.
Yeah, I've said this a few places about the White Sox. Crochet feels like a tough guy to trade for both what he represents as a pitcher who has just not come out of nowhere, right? This is a first-round pick who was very talented, but because of what he had been in recent years in the big leagues, this is pretty astonishing to watch. At the same time, man, guys, like it's one thing to trade a Cease a couple years from free agency. It's one thing to trade even a Luis Robert or a Kopech, whatever. Trading Crochet, it's like the only thing that's gone right for the White Sox this season is a really, really tough look. And while I do not doubt that the Padres are going to try, because what does AJ Preller care about what it looks like to White Sox fans? It's going to be really, really hard. But I just struggle with, and by the way, I think the risk is there. I think it doesn't matter how good he looks right now. I think when you see guys blow past their workloads like this, you just don't really know. Not to mention with the injury history that he already has. Right. I think the talent is legit, but there's a lot of risk there. I think they will land a starting pitcher, but I just feel like Crochet ends up not getting moved.
So, Jordan, we have a segment we do every day called Don't Do This. We've done it for 6 years since we started the show. It's, as you can imagine, it's just, the foibles and the mistakes from the world of sports. We had a disagreement earlier this week. I did not like it when Cardinals fans gave a standing ovation to Paul Skeens when he walked off the mound. Woods did. I know you talked about it this week as well. What was your opinion of that moment when an opposing team gives an ovation?
Are you asking him because you know his answer is matching up with yours?
I just know he talked about it.
I feel like you are.
No, that's not true. My first thought when it happened was closer to what Ben said.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm swept up in Skeens media like everybody else. And I think that for it's so interesting that it's the Cardinals fans in particular.
That's what bothered me the most. Yes. I think I wouldn't have minded as much
if it was the Rays or something.
If someone else had done it with the Cardinals fans. I feel like they're putting on a show for us just to rub it in all of our faces.
It's eyewash. It's just eyewash. It's eyewash. Look at us. Look how great we are.
That's true. And that was Jake's point, which I think you can definitely roll your eyes at, which is the Cardinals fans trying to make it be we can appreciate great baseball. We know baseball better than it's that is definitely obnoxious if that is the case.
Yes.
However, you can also flip it and be come on, Cardinals fans, you would think you were the most passionate defenders of your own team, and your team is getting embarrassed by this guy in his 7th major league start, no matter how great he is. Why am I cheering for him? And so I could see it both ways. But as someone who generally is going to support the appreciation of any player in a neutral context, I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, I can appreciate it. I'm just going to do it silently. I'm going to silently appreciate it.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't
yell
at my TV.
I don't need to celebrate. This is not me giving the Cardinals fans a standing ovation. That would be a step too far. But I'm just saying, I thought it was cool. I'm not commending them. I thought it was cool. There's a very slight difference there.
Jordan, appreciate it. Thanks for filling in for Jake. Anytime, I'll always appreciate your conversations.
Appreciate you guys. Talk soon.
Thanks, Jordan Schusterman. Jordan Schusterman.
We are losing it. Both of us right
barbecue.
Now. We got to get it together.
It's been a long week.
We got to get it together. We got the skipper coming up in 45 minutes.
As always, thanks to Grand Ole Barbecue for bringing you Cespedes Family Barbecue every Friday. Check them out. North Park, Flint Springs, and at the ballpark the next time the Padres are back home. That won't be for a while. They got a 6-game road trip that they start tonight. In New York, we got a 4:10 first pitch, 3:10 Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. Padres taking on the New York Mets. And then, Woods, back to Philadelphia. Phillies already came to Petco Park and swept the Padres once.
Just lost 2 or 3, though.
They have
Boston.
They're not as hot as they were back then.
JT Real Muto is out. I never say it right. JT Real Muto is out for them. They got bodied by Boston last night. Nola got just crushed. So
how about payback? How about sweep them in their ballpark?
100%, man. Turnabout's fair play. I'd love to see it.
We'd be feeling pretty good about the Padres if they come back with like a 4-2 road trip.
It'd be fantastic, man.
You're feeling really good about the Padres at this point.
100%. Keep it rolling.
Got to start with the New York Mets, though. We'll talk more about that coming up. As you said, the manager, Mike Shildt, will join us from the Big Apple coming up at the top of the hour for his weekly visit here. So don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station. Traffic first here on 97.3 The Fan.
I got to give our tier ones the most credit in the world. You guys are amazing. We had been discussing a Padres game earlier in the week, and something had happened, and I said, I got to ask Mike Shildt about that. And you said,
yeah,
he's going to.
It's an interesting one.
He might, you're like, that's kind of spicy. I said, I'll ask him that. And I had completely, as I do, blanked, forgotten it. I put it in the chat and asked what I had said myself, and they reminded me. just like that. Took 2 seconds. You guys are incredible. I
You're
love
better
you.
than Post-it notes.
You're better than the hosts of this show, and it's not even close. So thank you, Elisa came through. You're a stud. Thank you so much.
All right, looking forward to it now. Mike Shildt coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Obviously, it's going to be a very positive tone, at least compared to last week. When the Padres had lost 5 in a row,
Good God.
4 in a row, and are about to lose 5 in a row. Now they've won 5 out of 6, and the mood is much better for your San Diego Padres. It'll make a difference in the conversation. I'm sure of it. He's got a lot of individual players playing well also. We are 1 week into All-Star voting, and I saw our friend David Schoenfield from ESPN came out with his All-Star teams. Jim Bowden did it last week. They both have between 4 and 5 Padres slated to make the All-Star team. Both of them have Jurickson Profar and Fernando Tatis Jr. starting in the outfield. They both have Luis Arraez as a reserve, and Robert Suarez is one of the closers on the team. I think Bowden also added Cease as part of his pitching rotation as well. 4 to 5 All-Stars is legit. I mean, there's not a lot of teams out there that are going to have 4 to 5 All-Stars. In fact, there's about 6 or 7 that he's going, I don't even know, the one is going to be kind of tough to figure out that they're going to have the mandatory minimum 1. But the Padres should have much more than the mandatory minimum, looking to potentially have 4 or even 5 All-Star performers next month.
And I'm a monster, right? That I want everyone to just go home and rest and recharge. Yes? Yes.
I mean, like for Jurickson.
Jurickson's the one. He's the one for me.
Assuming he's healthy, obviously, now that you find out he's got and we'll ask Mike Shildt about his patellar tendonitis and how he's feeling.
Did you see the quotes about the All-Star game, what it means to him?
Yeah.
Got
his
me.
son.
His son.
Wants to be there.
He doesn't want. He never watches the game. He's like, I don't watch this. And his kid always makes him watch the game. The fact that he could see his old man running out there playing. Are you kidding me? Spectacular.
He certainly.
He's so deserving.
If you haven't made an All-Star game in your first 10 years, let's just be honest. It's probably never happening.
You probably think it's never going to happen, man.
The fact that he is such a favorite to get there, I just hope he gets voted in. I mean, I know Padres fans will do their thing. Do enough people, the rest of the country, pay attention to the fact that
probably not.
He's over. I mean, but it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
If you take one look at the outfield statistics in the National League, there's only one sure thing. And that is Jurickson Profar. If you base your vote on something other than just your heart or the names or the guys you've heard of, if you actually look at the statistics and take that into consideration at all, Jurickson Profar is the only lock in the outfield in the National League.
Correct.
So I'd hate to think that he'd have to be a reserve. He should be there, have his name introduced in the starting lineup, get to go out, play the first 3 innings, whatever, and be there in the park where he made his Major League debut, or at least the new park next to the park where he made his Major League debut.
The city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be one thing that I am excited about. Robert Suarez being there
100%.
is going to be.
I just don't want him to pitch.
Is going to be exciting.
I just want him there. Like,
he'll go in, throw 7 fastballs. He'll be fine.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
All right. You're right. It's selfish. I
mean,
understand it. I know I'm a monster. I know that.
I wouldn't have said it was possible a few days ago. Just Jackson Merrill in such a weak National League outfield. Does he get some consideration for an All-Star game?
Yeah.
Especially after what he just did and a little extra national attention. I don't think so, not yet, but certainly the numbers are not bad at all for Jackson Merrill. Played a good defense. There really isn't any center fielders. Now, you can have 3 outfielders. They can play wherever.
Yeah, play wherever.
They'll probably put Tatis in center just because they know he can handle it.
Now, Vinny says 4 to 5 won't happen. Stop being silly. You're probably right, Vinny. You're probably right, but
wasn't me.
It's deserving.
Jim Bowden, it's David Schoenfield.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have 4 to 5. They're not Padres fans. They're not homers. They have no reason to do it other than trying to logically determine what the team looks like, and they both had at least 4 Padres on their All-Star team.
Jeremiah Estrada. Coach vote or whatever.
Yeah,
Manager choice.
I don't know if he has the innings necessarily. I mean, he didn't even start the year with the Padres.
Well, he did, but then he went down.
Then he came back down.
up.
Yeah. But did you see? I saw David Schoenfield has Matt Strahm making the team.
A monster.
He's only given up 2 runs. Now, he's not a closer, so
No.
he doesn't have the save numbers. But if you're looking at pitchers and you don't mind that they don't have saves, Matty Strahm has had a phenomenal season. Phenomenal season for the Phillies.
Fantastic.
That would be cool to see Matty
It'd be
Strahm.
great,
in an
man.
All-Star
I would
game.
love to see some of these old friends of the show get in, and new friends of the show like Jerks and Profar.
Last night, a little bit of Major League Baseball action before we get to our Clug report coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Pirates. Both of those teams kind of in the thick of the wild card race behind the Padres in the National League. The Mets we talked about earlier had the walk-off from J.D. Martinez. Jock Peterson had a big game for the Diamondbacks. Grand Slam, 5 RBI. Diamondbacks beat the Angels 11-1. They took care of business. Took 2 out of 3 at least against L.A. Royals avoid the sweep, 4-3 over the Yankees. You know, Alec Marsh had a no-hitter, I think, like to the 7th. Lost the no-hitter, lost the lead in the 8th, but then the Royals rallied for the walk-off 4-3 win. Let's see. The Red Sox beat the Phillies. I mentioned how Aaron Nola struggled 11 hits and 8 runs.
It's crazy. I watched
in
some of that
3
game.
2/3 innings.
Nuts.
Just
right down the middle, man. Center cut. Guys
Cubs
just
lost to
pounded
the
them.
Rays. They dropped 2 of 3 down in St. Pete. Tigers beat the Nationals. Nationals had won, I think, 5 in a row.
I got tagged about 700 times. Did you see that inning where the Cubs just started to bunt and try to get runs
They
in?
weren't even that great of bunts.
They weren't. They just got the
worked
job
out,
done.
yeah.
But who won that game?
The Rays did.
Oh, okay. Probably because giving away outs at the big league level sucks.
And the Braves snapped their 5-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Orioles. Do you see the Braves GM just flat out going, "We're not playing good"?
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah. He said. Alex Anthopoulos just said. I'm sure Adam knows this. We're just not playing good baseball.
I don't
right now.
really understand it.
Not hitting, not doing anything.
Yeah, their offense is terrible for no reason whatsoever. I mean,
for
that's frustrating.
For like
man.
a season last year, and then the first couple of months this year, like Braves had the best offense in baseball, and then it just disappeared.
Stupid game, man. It makes no sense.
It's weird. All right, Adam will have some headlines for us, filling in for Paulie on our Roundel Report. Coming up next, and then Mike Shildt at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. It's Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Schauffele making a little charge up the leaderboard on day 2 of the U.S. Open. He started the day at even par. And by the way, he was lucky to be even yesterday. He only hit, I think, 6 fairways and 8 greens yesterday. He had to scramble his butt off just to get to even par and not play himself out of the tournament. But he's 3 under through 13 holes this morning and has moved into the top 5. Patrick Cantlay remains the leader at 5 under. He hasn't teed off yet. Rory McIlroy, 1 back, 4 under. He's 1 over on the day. Ludwig Oberg is 4 under. He hasn't teed off, but Bryson DeChambeau just moved to 4 under with back-to-back birdies through 13 holes, and he is now tied for second as well at the 124th U.S. Open at Pinehurst, number 2 in North Carolina.
I'm a pretty good scrambler on the golf course for a 90.
You've got good hands for a guy who doesn't practice that much, and I'm sometimes envious because I don't have that. I used to have really soft, good hands when I played a lot. Now I'm yippy, and you get old and stab at it, and it's like chunk it and skull it, and Woods comes out a little flip. I'm like, that makes me mad.
I'm scrambling for a 96.
Now you're also hitting it 40 yards off the fairway, off the tee, which I don't do. You know, you're scrambling, to save your double bogeys, as you said, which is the difference. Game. But I do get jealous sometimes when I
around the greens
when I see those nice little pitch shots around the greens that I struggle with.
It's all right.
Struggle with them. All right, Adam's got a Clug report with some headlines for us coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. Got a collision on the Hotel Circle on-ramp to westbound 8. Couple pickup trucks blocking that right lane, northbound side of the 163 before Friars Road. Reports looks like some paint buckets in middle lanes. Skip the fried food when visiting the San Diego Fair this year and grab some healthy, fresh catch at the Fish Market. So good. The Fish Market off the 5 next to the Del Mar Fairgrounds and downtown on North Harbor Drive. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the
Clug
Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the
Clug
Report. 2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
Let's start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed. It's the
Clug
Report on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Take it away, birthday boy.
Yes. Oh, yeah, happy birthday again to Adam Clug.
Thank you guys very much. Nowhere I'd rather be right now.
Which, unfortunately, is kind of true, as we learned. He is nowhere else he wants to be.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm going to. Yesterday in the text when Paulie's like, man, I am toast. I'm achy and I'm sick and blah, blah, blah.
That I wasn't.
Adam, right, here's his text back. This laid me out.
I love you, Paul.
Welp. W-E-L-P. Welp. Sorry you aren't feeling well. I'll do it in Adam's voice. Welp. Sorry you aren't feeling well. Guess I'll be in with you guys tomorrow. The whelp.
Adam's had a long week. So Scraby's been out with the shoulder surgery. And so
emergency 5:45 call in the other day when
Paul got Paul got sick the other day. Had to come in really, really early.
Yeah.
You went and covered the Chucky Lozano news conference yesterday for us while we were doing the roundtable. You've been very, very busy.
The busy
week.
little
Long
beaver.
Days, lots of work. We appreciate it.
All good. You're right, though. There is nowhere I'd rather be. I love sports. I
Yeah,
love
that's the
radio.
thing.
I love
Come
our
on,
station.
man.
So I'd just be at home listening anyway. So.
Welp. He said, welp.
You didn't work here. You'd be a tier 1 for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Welp, though, means I'm not happy about this. Welp.
I wasn't thrilled.
He's trying to show a little empathy to Paulie.
Yeah, well,
it's very empathetic.
Very
I love you,
empathetic.
Paul. Get well
Well,
soon.
He has such a bedside manner. Go ahead, buddy. Take it away.
It is good to be Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter's reported that the former #1 overall pick has agreed to a 5-year, $275 million contract with Jacksonville, which includes $200 million guaranteed and a $142 million bonus at signing. I guess they just hand him a big Publishers Clearinghouse.
142 a signing bonus? No.
Please sign our contract.
That's not
Here's $142 million.
That can't be right.
That is true.
Because
It's-
142.
It doesn't count against the cap. so
Right.
it lowers his base
I'm sure
salary.
it'll be like prorated
I guess it
and
says-
handed out. Not in one giant
let me
lump
clarify.
sum, probably, but
That would be so badass.
It's a $37.5 million signing bonus.
Got it.
But he gets $142 million of the $200 guaranteed at signing.
Okay, that's
But
very odd.
Lawrence hasn't been that good of a quarterback. He's underwhelmed compared to the type of prospect he was and being the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars obviously aren't going to let him walk.
What a tough position to be in. Hard to let guys walk when you think we still believe in your ceiling. Very much. We believe very much, obviously that much money you believe in his ceiling, but holy smokes, it's a lot of coin.
And again, he's got a high upside. The only other quarterback I can think of that wasn't a complete and total bust, who was the number 1 pick in their team, let him walk without signing his second contract, was Baker Mayfield with the Browns.
Yeah.
They let him walk.
Let
they
him
went
go.
After Deshaun Watson, he signed for like 1 year, $4 million, like after bouncing around, and now he just got paid $5.
The prove-it deal.
So here are now your top 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL quickly. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins, and
Patrick Mahomes.
number 10, Patrick Mahomes.
And he signed a 10-year deal, so
Yeah.
He's locked up for a while.
They're the Chiefs are in the catbird seat.
It's crazy
that they have him locked up, and he's not even the top 5 paid quarterback in the league. Guys won back-to-back
that
Super
was
Bowls.
Brady every year, though.
It was,
and
and now it's Patrick Mahomes going to be Patrick Mahomes. Now it's a much higher total, but as the cap goes up, these quarterback figures keep going up and up and up. The quarterbacks keep eating the most
correct
chunk of the cap increases,
Well,
and then there's like scraps left over for everybody else.
The next guy is Dak Prescott, who's got 1 year left on his deal, and you know what he's reportedly asking for now: $60 million per year.
Get on the mic, people are saying.
So then Patrick
$60 million per year.
So then Patrick Mahomes will no longer even be a top 10 paid quarterback when that happens.
It's insane.
We've got the let's go to the world of college football as the Big 12 is exploring selling naming rights for the conference to a title sponsor.
Everything's for sale, man.
Everything.
Everything's for sale.
People telling me to get on the mic.
Yeah, get on the mic, Doc.
Okay.
Here, watch me.
I was trying to keep it out of the camera
Look,
view. Of
don't
YouTube.
worry. People see the look karate chop right here, right there. That's what you need.
So we've been workshopping though, right? A sponsorship for the Big 12 conference. What did you guys come up with?
So
Arby's?
This can go 2 different ways.
What was your idea? Arby's.
Depending on who the company is, it'll sound really awkward. Like the Arby's 12 is kind of embarrassing. I mean, you can say. Now, I was listening last night. Whoever's hosting on 97.3 The Fan, the overnights, said like an insurance company, make a lot of sense. The Allstate 12, the State Farm 12, sounds kind of like college football-y anyway. The Travelers 12. That could be like the Big 10 could be the Travelers 10 because you've got schools all the way from California to New Jersey. So some sponsors work. Southwest Airlines, the Southwest 12. Perfect, easy, done, no problem.
Yeah.
But there are also companies that would sound very awkward, like the Ben & Woods 12 would be a little weird.
It's very expensive. We don't have the budget.
They're going to want more than $100.
They
I
are.
heard 30 to 50, so.
Arby's 12 really has a good ring to it. Carl's Jr. 12.
I saw our friend.
Round Table 12. That's not bad.
The Round Table 12.
Yeah, not bad at all.
The last honest conference.
The last honest conference.
Someone said the SEC should sell the naming rights, and it would be the Waffle House CC.
Waffle House CC.
Because it ends
Love
in
the
SER.
Waffle House. I love
Waffle
the
House
Waffle House too, man.
SCC. But yeah, I guess if you can make money on it, they're going to start doing it in college football. Now there's a law being debated in Congress right now to prevent schools from or making them so they don't have to classify college football players as employees.
Right.
Which is, they already are sharing the NIL and the revenue money. That lawsuit, the House lawsuit that just got settled.
Companies hate making you an employee.
So the argument that they're employees is they work a lot of hours to help the schools make money, the ticket revenues, the TV revenues. Where does it stop, though? Are high school football players employees? I mean, they charge tickets to go for a high school football game, you watch the players play, they practice for hours. Are you going to have to start paying at least a minimum wage to high school football players? Because if you did, that would be the end of high school football.
Correct.
If You could not. There's no high school in America that could afford to pay even minimum wage.
I wouldn't say no high school.
Okay.
There's some high schools.
There's 7 schools in Texas.
They're
that
all
can
in
afford
South
this.
Lake, Texas.
That's about it. So, I mean, if that's the law, then high school football is done. If players have to be paid minimum wage at least, you will not have any more high school football.
How about start paying adult league baseball players to play? That I would sign up for.
Well, I don't think you're charging tickets or making any money, so you're not
yet.
really employees.
Not yet.
Maybe you should be.
I treat my guys like employees. I do.
You treat your kids like employees.
I treat my kids like employees as well. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And finally, guys, I've got a question for you. Do you believe in aliens? The
I do.
extraterrestrial?
Yeah, I do. Ben does not.
I don't
He
believe
gets
that they've
dragged.
come and visited this world.
I
I've got a story for you.
I believe there's one inside of you sometimes.
I absolutely believe that they're out there many, many light years away that we don't know about. But here, no. Why would they be hiding it? Come visit. Say hi.
Well, I could tell you.
Okay, fine.
I'm very big into this. I absolutely believe in aliens.
Wait. You do. So this is an
Absolutely.
interest outside of
It's
sports.
like mathematically impossible that there's no other
I
intelligent
agree.
life.
They're just not here.
They're
a
among
recent
us.
Harvard University study. Harvard University. The study has revealed that aliens might be living among humans, probably underground or on the moon.
Or at the San Diego County Fair that I was at the other day.
There
I'm
you
pretty
go.
sure that I saw potentially.
Wait, so what's their reasoning here? They're underground.
Let me read.
Or on the moon.
The Human Flourishing Program of Harvard University stated UFOs might be alien spaceships that are visiting to meet their alien friends living on Earth. The paper states the author is aware of the depth of evidence and theory that also tentatively supports another extraterrestrial explanation, the quote, crypto-terrestrial hypothesis, linking unidentified aerial phenomenon activity to the action of hidden non-human entities that could be pretending to be humans and evolved from intelligent dinosaurs.
I also submit to you Ozfest. If
This
you've never
is
been
from
to
Harvard.
Ozfest.
Wait, if they evolved from dinosaurs, they're not aliens. They're just different from us.
So I'll let you guys speak, but if you want, I can deep dive. They go into 4 different types of theories about aliens living on Earth. Among
Here he goes.
don't deep
Here he
dive.
goes. Here he goes.
There are UFO sightings, literally every
I saw
day.
one at Joshua Tree.
Of
I'm
course
not
you did.
kidding.
I believe you did.
I'm not kidding you.
So you're telling me that out of hundreds of thousands, probably every year, of UFO sightings, we haven't been able to prove a single one of them. There's not photographic evidence convincing of a single
Maybe
one
there
of
is,
them.
There we
and the
go.
government just doesn't
They're
want
hiding
you to
it
know.
from you. What do you
They're
think?
hiding hundreds of thousands of
Yes.
aliens every day.
Area
no one can hide that much.
51.
No one can hide that much from everybody.
You're a sweet
Which,
kid.
guess what? There's an Area 51. There's probably thousands of government employees. All of them completely silent.
Some people think they live under the ocean, Ben.
People talk. People talk too much. They take pictures. Everyone has cell phones. You know, they didn't put it on Twitter. I mean, someone would have determined it's real at some
You're going
point.
to get dragged
Every
again,
single
and you
one.
deserve it. You
Debunked.
deserve it, frankly. I fully believe, Adam, and I fully believe that they're among us. I really, really do. I saw Men in Black. I believed it. It looked like a documentary to me. For real. It looked like a documentary.
A dramatization.
A dramatization of the real world.
I believe.
I believe as well. He gets so riled up when you start talking. His logical brain won't accept it. And
See,
it
I
just
thought you
kills
would
me.
believe because logically, like I said, it's math. It feels like mathematically impossible that we're the only intelligent life.
Diesel says he saw a demon hitchhiker once.
You saw a demon at Joshua Tree at the bar.
Now that guy, you're telling me that they don't exist? Guy's 130 years old.
No, I didn't say demons didn't exist. I said aliens didn't exist.
So one is logical, one is illogical. You really pushed his buttons because he gets really worked up with this one. There's one Twitter follower that's going to murder you for the rest of the day. You know who it is.
I do.
I can't remember his name, but he's going
Trans
UFO guy.
something.
He is going to murder you. Murder you.
I 100% believe aliens are out there. Out there. Way out there.
Can't keep your head in the sand on this one, man. You really
And I will gladly and happily welcome them and learn all about them when they do decide to get here. But if they decided, we'd know about it at this point.
We've got the skipper, Mike Shildt, up next. And we joked off air if he needs to know where the back end of his bullpen is. Well, it's currently on MLB Network. Jeremiah Estrada was there last night. Robert Suarez is on this morning. I can't say I like this very much, talking to Alana Rizzo. I feel like that's a bad luck waiting
Stephen
to happen.
Kolek is going in.
Stephen Kolek's waiting outside for his appearance next. Yuki Matsui is waiting. Fantastic. So Padres
Yuki's
getting a
just
little
working on his English. Did you see that? He didn't want a translator to join Ruben on the mound.
On the mound.
No, I'm working on this.
it.
I don't want a translator anymore. We're going to talk English.
Yep. Oh, Scotty Scheffler, double bogey.
Scotty's on the wrong side of the cut line now.
He is. That is tough, man.
What a shocker.
That is shocking. A lot of money. I don't know if a lot of people put money on Scheffler, but he's probably in a lot of one-and-done pools.
Yeah, the odds weren't great. They're like the old Tiger odds, 3-1 to win a U.S. Open against 155 other people.
Yeah, man.
It's not good odds.
Not good at all.
To be sure, but he's given the opportunity for a lot of guys now to win a major because it doesn't look like I don't ever want to count him out. But he's definitely
close.
Not.
What's the cut line going to be projected?
I don't know. Right now, it's right around 4. It might go back a little bit as the day goes on. I could see 4 or 5, but it doesn't look like it's going to be as high as I thought it was going to be 6 or 7. But I don't think it's going to get there. I think maybe 4 at the end of the day is looking pretty likely at this point. And he's right now at 5. So, and he's only got 4 holes left. Better birdie one of them if you want to be around for the weekend for Scotty Scheffler.
Somebody, the Beef just said Suarez just knocked it out of the park on his interview. Yeah, we'll try to maybe get some audio before the show ends.
But first,
get a lot of love.
First, we will be joined by the skipper, Mike Shildt, joining us from the Big Apple as his team gets ready to open a 3-game series in New York and a 6-game road trip on the East Coast. They won 5 of the last 6, and we'll see what Mike Shildt has to say when we come back with the final hour of the week of Ben and Woods and Adam Clug. And our best wishes to Paulie Reindl as he gets healthy, hopefully back on Monday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. watching the top 3 golfers in the world struggle to even chip the ball into the green right now at the U.S. Open. A little carnage. Ball's coming back to the feet of Scheffler and Schauffele, and then Rory had the same shot. He just sculled it right over the green because he didn't want to do the same thing those guys did.
Man.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's punishing out there right now at the U.S. Open. Final hour of Ben and Woods this week. We'll be joined shortly, we believe, by the skipper Mike Shildt as his team gets ready to take on the New York Mets. Pitching matchup today, Matt Waldron, who is 4-5 with a 3.76 ERA, but has only allowed 5 runs in his last 5 starts. Will take the mound against Sean Manaea, the former Padre, 3-3 with a 4.30 ERA. But as you mentioned earlier,
rough June.
Started well, has struggled a little bit lately, but he is a left-hander. And of the things the Padres have done better lately, can't really say that they're doing that much better against these lefty starters.
They're grinding on it.
They've won some games,
They've won
but
some
mostly
games,
because
yeah.
they
The
walked him off on the bullpen against righties later in the game. Not that they just have hammered lefties to any consistency at all this season. And then there's another lefty tomorrow in Jose Quintana, who has not been good. He's 1-5 with a 5.29, but we've seen good lefties, we've seen not great lefties, and they've all given the Padres trouble. Adam Mazur supposed to start tomorrow, and then Dylan Cease against Tyler McGill in the series finale on Sunday morning, and then the Padres go to Philadelphia for 3 games to complete their 6-game road trip before back to Petco Park. But it has been an outstanding week for your San Diego Padres. They've won 5 of their last 6. And joining us right now for our manager's report, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better. We welcome Mike Shildt back to the program from the Big Apple. Good morning, Skip.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing really well. My first question for you was, is the Chipotle in Manhattan the same as it is here in San Diego, or is it different?
Standard quality control. Wherever you go, you know what you're going to get.
Love it.
Please tell me that because obviously you've been to New York many times. Is there a favorite spot you have? Is there a favorite thing to do on an off day in New York? I know it's tough to get a day off for the skipper. You're always working, but what do you do on a day off in New York?
Yeah, I've been here quite a bit. I enjoy it here. Yesterday, just took advantage of some sleep, and then got up, took a walk into Central Park, walked around, watched, loved the fact there's 4 softball fields going in the middle of the day on a Thursday, and people of all ages, mostly adults, are just getting after it playing softball. So I watched that for a while. And then went back to the hotel, took a little nap, woke up, and Chipotle's within 0.2 of a mile from the hotel. And I walked down and had some dinner and came back up and did a little work and went to bed.
Pizza, my man.
Pizza!
Just a slice of pizza,
Just
please. It's
come
New
on,
York.
right? Chinese food, there's all kinds of good stuff.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, well, so your team's been pretty exciting this week. What last couple of games, walk-off wins, a lot of places we can start, but I think I'll just start with Jackson Merrill. We talked about the kid back in spring training, asking him to do a position he had never played before. He has handled everything you've thrown at him this year so far, and he continues to get better. The home run that he hit, everyone talks about the one off Mason Miller. The homer off the lefty to center field at over 400 feet. I was floored. I didn't think that was part of his game yet. Just tell me what you've been seeing lately with Jackson as he continues his development.
He hasn't stopped talking about that home run, by the way, since it happened, Skip.
Yeah, I don't blame him. It was pretty special, both of them. Clearly meaningful and impactful. And to your point, at the beginning of the year, talking back in spring training with you guys about, who we felt like Jackson is and the type of player we felt like he was going to be, and now seeing that pour into fruition during the course of the season, and 2 big swings, but just continues to do things that helps win ball games. Has been very, very impressive.
Contributions, though, up and down. Really, Donovan Solano, monster game, obviously. Higgy getting that walk-off was so awesome, so special to see him. Again, it's not sustainable to have a walk-off every single night. Probably not good for the ticker either, for the skipper. But boy, you sure take it every time. And I just felt so good for those guys, getting a shot to contribute at the big league level and coming through.
Yeah, no, it's clearly huge. It takes a village, and it takes the entire roster, and we're getting contributions from, people all over the roster. We can obviously Higgy, big swing. It's taken some really good at-bats, a nice job behind the plate. Been a nice addition to the club, and you mentioned Solano. I mean, gosh, how good has he been? Just the professionalism, and the at-bats, and the homer to get us on the board to get the lead, and then the homer to tie in the eighth against a really tough setup guy, and been really, really good contribution from both those guys.
I was thinking, obviously, your first season as Padres manager, but you've been in the organization for a couple of years, and I was thinking you haven't really ever been here and seen Tatis at his full power. And then I realized, no, wait, you did. You were on the other side, the 2020 playoffs when Tatis had that game, the Game 3 against the Cardinals. Is what you're seeing now maybe similar to what he was doing before the shoulder surgery and the season that he missed?
Yeah, I mean, this is who I got to see on the other side of the field. I mean, you mentioned 20. It's actually Game 2. The 3-run homer off Gallegos. They kind of turned the tide in that series. But, yeah, he's a special talent, clearly. I mean, but just a force of nature, in 20 and 21 when I saw him, and, he's picking back up and getting back in the groove of what that looks like. And it's clearly fun to have him on our side and to be able to watch it every day. He's in a great spot.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods this morning. I actually had a strategy question for you, which I know you love. Every single week.
Well, I love it when you have your own opinion about it.
Okay.
And that's okay.
All right, good. All right. So I had
but I love being blindsided by it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, wait. This one's going to knock you off your feet then. Here we go.
No, seriously. All right, so the other day, Jerkson gets waved home. He's coming in. It looked on TV, and I know, different perspective, but it looked on TV like it was a pretty clear blocking of the plate. Does anybody know what that rule really is anymore? I wondered, I guess I was curious, why not challenge there? The risk reward. Are you super clear? Is anybody super clear on this rule right now? So I was just kind of curious as to why maybe not a challenge on that one.
You're so fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, there's a lot of moving parts to the challenge process. Effectively, I get, feedback on whether to challenge or not. The unfair part of the process, but whether I say it's unfair or fair, it doesn't really matter because it is the process. You get 15 seconds.
Yep.
And, we have a very, very, very capable group that looks at that in that 15-second period. And I get a determination whether it's a 50-50, whether it's a no, or whether it's a challenge. And I support and trust what I hear. So, but it's not enough time to really sometimes evaluate it, because the other side of that is the umpires in New York then get not unlimited time, but, on average about a minute and 18 seconds to then watch it and figure it out, watch it, figure it out, watch it, figure it out. And they get more angles than we're able to get in real time.
Sure.
Within a 15-second period that a decision has to be made. So it's really an unfair process to some degree. Speed up the game, and they keep shaving off the replay times. They really don't candidly won a lot of challenges is my take on it. But and then relative to the blocking to the plate, that's as ambiguous a rule as we have in our game, and it's hard to interpret what's going to come out of that. But I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and it was more of an indictment on the lack of clarity from game to game and how it changes so much, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that factors into, like, do we really?
This could be a total waste.
This could be a complete waste of a challenge.
I don't think that came into play there. I don't think
okay.
that was
okay.
I don't think a concern of whether all we can do was challenge if we feel applicable to the rule. And then how they interpret it, we can't control that. But, that's the other thing. You're looking at two different things in 15 seconds. Out, safe, blocking the plate, not blocking the plate. And, and again, sometimes those, especially historically on the road, where you get road feeds and the road team doesn't give you great feeds in real time in that 15-second window to be able to make a decision. So, there's a lot of different variables that go into it, and it's way easier said than done on that deal. I've sat in there and done it, and it's a real challenge. But that was basically the decision.
Speaking of Jurickson, how's he feeling now? Now you're going to get those questions every day. You held him out.
Health questions.
You held him out on Wednesday. Now he said he's been dealing with it for a while. This isn't new, but it's new to us in the media. So now we're going to ask you about it a ton.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, it's part of the gig. I texted with him yesterday. We're going to see how he feels when he comes in today. He's one of these, which I love. I can play. I want to play. I'm in there. And then, medical has their rightful place in the decision. And then we come up with a consensus. And so we'll do that as soon as he gets in here later today.
Well, if you're looking for your squad, Skip, they're all at MLB Network. Just so you know, we've had this morning Bobby Fast. Yesterday was Jeremiah Estrada.
And Robert Suarez, and then I just see Arise and Profar are both going on too. So
getting a lot of
cool.
getting a lot of attention and
hey, they deserve it.
They've
earned some good attention here.
Yeah, that's good.
Darn right. Guys are playing well. They get. To the victor goes the spoils, man. The guys are doing good stuff, and they deserve every opportunity to be able to be appreciated.
Another question I'm sure you are super tired of answering is, and again, the numbers are coming up. I just checked the splits, lefty against righty, and they're coming up. There has been some improvement. I'm sure you guys are continuing to try to figure out why left-handers have been such an issue this year. What is kind of the message to the guys going up against two left-handers the first two games in New York?
Yeah, the numbers are coming up. I think they'll get to where they need to get to. There's not this blindness like, they'll just show up. No, there's some intentionality of individual, collectively. What are we doing? How are we doing it? Making sure, ultimately, in simple terms, we have the right approach with the right swing. So, guys are working at it. I have complete 100% confidence in our hitting coaches and our players and. It's a high baseball IQ group, and it's a game of adjustments, and sometimes they're easier to make than others. But we're on it. I can confidently tell you that.
How is the balance of Michael King? Just looking outstanding his last start, especially, but also knowing you're asking a lot of a guy he's only been a part-time starter in his career up to this point. How are you kind of managing that balance of innings, especially while he's being so effective?
Yeah, that's part of it. We got to win today, and we got to compete in the moment, but we also have to look at the big picture, and how you marry those two can be quite the challenge some days. But that is part of it. There's no science to it. There's some feel for it, but there definitely is an awareness of making sure. I mean, the other day he's got 90 pitches, goes back out, hadn't had a ton of stress, but he has the 90-pitch mark. You are trying to, take care of this guy. You go out and you're in a little bit of a hitter-to-hitter mode, and, he clearly had enough bullets to be able to finish the sixth, but he also, was getting in that territory where we're starting to get a little more uncomfortable and don't want to push him relative to the game and relative to the season. And, he goes out and gets a couple – CNI hits and determine at 97 at that point with nobody out in the fifth. It's a good time for him to go, and he's got a chance to walk off with a win or not get a loss. So it sets him up for success on that deal too. So a lot of variables to it. Continue to listen to the player and figure out how to be efficient in between starts. Now he's going to take care of himself and monitor his workload and evaluate how hard he's working during the course of the games.
How big? Last one for me, Skip, and thanks again for your time. Always appreciate it. I was watching the game. Colette came in, bases loaded, nobody out, and I went, "Oh man, what a rough situation." He gets out of that thing. Obviously, kind of not an unsung hero of that win. But when he was done, and you talked to him after, is there anything you could share with us about his confidence level after that, or what he said? Because I know, listen, he's had a bit of a rough go at times. He's also looked really sharp at times. So how is his confidence now after that brilliant performance?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was big. We unsung hero. for sure. I mean, he doesn't do that. That game doesn't happen later on, and so yeah, it was big for him, and you know, he's had some ups and downs, and you know, anytime you get a guy, and we have some of these guys, and that's okay. It's just but nobody likes to hear the patient word.
Yeah.
You know, combined with the win now, you know, mindset. And you talk about like Michael King and figuring that out. Like, yeah, win now, protect him. You know, have guys that are young and a little bit less experienced play in certain areas. Learning curve. Don't want it. Tough luck. That's part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just the gig, you know, and Steven's done a nice job of navigating through it, learning from some of the things that, and look, it doesn't matter if you're a guy coming up, you know, veteran guy stuff, this is a tough league.
Yep.
You know, it's just reality. It's a highly competitive. We love it, and our job's to be consistent with it. I get it. But, you know, guys like Steven figuring out, having pitched mostly AA baseball, you know, there's going to be an adjustment period, and the league tells you. And so to his credit, really the last 3 outings, I thought the 2 outings previous where he went multiple innings, and was able to get through very efficiently, which is required when you're able to throw multiple innings, to come in and get in that attack mode. And there's you know, I'd say this in general, but it can be applicable to Steven. You know, there's a learning curve to figure out, and I think we can all relate to it on some levels in our lives and careers. You know, when you do something at a new level, there's a feeling out period of where you stand.
Yeah.
And and you know, at our level, like, how does my stuff play? And, you know, I believe the 2 outings previous and some of the successful outings prior, but led to that, like, hey, my stuff, yeah, I got an elite sinker, you know, and if I can throw this and I can be convicted with it and I can, you know, throw it where I want to, it's going to be effective. And he came in 2 punches, and Sugar makes a great play in left to in the inning. So, you know, long answer to your question, but, you know, it takes a while, but Steven's really taking those next steps.
Good stuff today. Just last thing, because I didn't want to make too big of a deal of it, because I think sometimes people do. But it was reported that after last Friday that there was a team meeting. Now, I know you guys meet all the time, but was there anything specifically that you heard that was said, you know, that Joe got guys together? Because the team has certainly responded well since that date. I don't know that one thing has anything to do with the other, Mike, but it is this kind of stuff we like to talk about in the media for sure.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's you know, I don't really reveal a lot of stuff that goes on in our clubhouse because our clubhouse is pretty sacred, and it's becoming less sacred. People get into it more and more. But I grew up. It's fine. I get it. People, why would you not try to get access?
100%.
But I'm not. I'm old school in that I don't go out of school. You know, we have not a lot. We spend a fair amount of time together talking about how we operate, how we go about things. So we have what I think is an appropriate amount of meetings and discussions, and a lot of them are very organized and scheduled, so it's not this knee-jerk to anything. So, you know, I don't know what was reported, I know what was said, I know what has taken place, and it's all positive. When you got a bunch of guys that are looking to win together and are holding people to a standard and continue to move the needle forward, and how that looks, and evaluates the season, and continues to figure out where the good things are and where the things that, you know, could be improved upon, which is completely natural and takes place irrespective of clubhouse. But that's a very healthy setting. So I don't know what's reported. I just know we got a group of guys that are intentional about being good together.
Informative and entertaining as always. That's why we really enjoy these conversations and appreciate them. Good luck tonight and this weekend in New York, and we'll see you when you guys get back to town next Friday.
All right. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Skip.
There he is, the manager of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt. Our manager's report brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better. We can react to what you just heard. We'll take a look at what other Padres are saying on MLB Network as well. All coming up after a check of traffic. Yeah, there they are again. Jurickson looks good.
Yeah, he does.
He looks good on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Good stuff from Mike Shildt, as always.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his explanation about the blocking the plate, the strategy on why you do or don't challenge that. When literally it seems like it's a coin flip. What are they going to decide? Because half the time they are blocking the plate based on the rule, but most of the time they shouldn't call it. But then they do sometimes.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
You know, I mean, there was a play the other night, the one that Andy Pajes run through the stop sign of Dino Ebel, and Roberts challenged it, and it's like I watched it and I go, I don't know. I've seen it called against the Padres, and I've seen it not called. It's just and you could tell, you know, that is an annoying thing for managers to have to deal with. And I mean, you say it's easy to say just challenge it, right? But what if you lose your challenge and it's the fifth inning or whatever, and it's like, man, I did it on that one where no one really knows the rules, and it can literally go. I mean, 50-50s are decent odds, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't know if it is 50-50.
I don't know either.
If it's 50% and you get it right and you get an automatic run,
right?
It's different than challenging a play at first base
Correct.
and you're 50%. And now we've got a guy on first base. Well, you still got to get him all the way in.
Still got to get him around.
This guy's already in.
Yeah.
If you win the challenge, boom, put the run on the board.
Yeah, risk reward.
Those are obviously more valuable in terms of opportunities.
Yeah.
You're willing to take a bigger chance because it's a bigger reward.
Yep.
If you do happen to have it called in your favor. I think just if I'm a baseball person, I'm going like, we didn't deserve to score on that play. Our guy was out by a mile.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd almost be embarrassed to challenge it, knowing, but in my heart of hearts, I know he was out. He should have been out. Whether or not the guy's foot was a little bit in front of the plate or not,
That's fair.
I don't really deserve that run.
Yeah, it's fair.
They made a nice play. They tagged him out.
Yeah.
Just because the catcher's foot was 4 inches over from where it should have been, that should turn over the rightful result of the play.
It's just such a weird feeling to. It's just such a weird feeling to be a manager and go, this is the game that I know. This is the game I've spent 30 years in, and I've got no earthly idea what these guys are going to call. That's a weird feeling, a weird position to be put in. I have no idea what they're going to call. None whatsoever. You know, I could be safe, could be out. I have no idea. Jeffrey says the end of the game was perfect time for the Dodgers to do it. Yeah, 100%. I mean, why not?
There's no reason not to challenge in the ninth inning.
Correct. Yeah. So, but yeah, in our case, maybe not. But I mean, I think the send was not ideal there. But you know, and again, though, you need the Oakland Athletics. By the way, the Oakland Athletics to make two perfect throws, and they did.
Yeah, and it made me like if Profar had hurt himself earlier in the game, you might be more cautious. But finding out later, he's been dealing with this for months, if not years. At some point, you treat him like any other player, and then you deal with the consequences afterwards. You can't never send him because he's got knee tendonitis. If he's good to go, he's good to go. And you thought he was going to be able to score, and they made a good relay, and they threw him out. The A's had a couple of situations where they sent guys on just as dicey of plays. And the Padres' throws were just a little bit off target, and it was enough for them to score the runs both times. A good throw would have had both of their runners at home plate on those plays that ended up working out in their favor. Now, it didn't cost the Padres the game, but that's why you send runners in those situations, because a lot of the time they score. And sometimes they even score easily, and you go, oh, yeah, that was a good send, but there's a lot of times when the perfect throw does get them, and it did happen to the Padres. We did find out as well. It was kind of a joke going into the interview, but he pretty much confirmed he did go to Chipotle.
This dude
on his day off
is in New York City, and
Chipotle.
When I asked him, he said quality control every time. And
he just likes knowing what he's going to get.
I mean, I kind of I'm pretty much that way too, but not if I travel. I don't think. Not to New York. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to Jersey Mike's anywhere. I went to Jersey Mike's yesterday. I'll go to Jersey. I've been to Jersey Mike's in a lot of different locales. But if I go to New York, I want to get something New York-y.
I'm not saying Chipotle is bad. I've had Chipotle many times. Sure. I just feel like
you're shortchanging
I would be
yourself.
so excited to try so many new things when I'm in New York, but he doesn't. That's not him. That's not him.
Man knows what he likes.
He does.
Real good. And then he just goes after it. It's fantastic. I wanted to hear, people in the chat are raving about Jurickson Profar and Luis Arraez on MLB Network, but I don't have it. Probably hear it on another show, right?
Yeah. Now I'm mostly dealing with the UFO
Fallout.
Yeah, on the fallout.
Person. It's one
There
guy,
it
and
is.
he
Yeah, it
wants you.
No, he's got plenty of evidence of lights in the sky. I get that. There's like UFO sightings every single day.
Oh, boy.
If they don't mind being seen, which obviously they don't, why not just land and say hello? Wave out the window.
Adam,
hey,
could you
we're
start
here.
the roundtable up from yesterday,
not?
please?
Don't give me an explanation.
All right, we'll be back. Final segment of the week
travel
here on Ben and Woods.
Hundreds of millions of
Go to
miles
break.
across the galaxy.
Go to break.
Just to give you a tiny glimpse of us.
Go to break.
But we're not going to actually completely show you who we are.
Go to break. Go to break.
Next. 97.3.
of the heavy side. Hey, Dad, can I borrow your car? Guess who's employing that at home now a lot? Your old pal Woods. It just comes with the territory of being a dad, I think. The heavy side. Are you a sire?
Yeah.
Yeah. Klug is amazing at it. Happy birthday,
Now, I
by
feel
the way.
bad. It's his birthday.
Yeah,
He's
it is
had a
his
long week. He's worked really hard. And he might be looking forward to our company holiday next Wednesday, but he's already said he's going to be volunteering and helping us out at the Ben & Woods Open. Which
You don't have to, by the way.
Just mentioned.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
We're not going to hold that
I can't
against
wait
you.
to be there.
No, you don't have to. For real. Sleep
I
sleep
wouldn't
in.
miss, I wouldn't
He
miss
wouldn't
it for
miss
the
it.
world.
Sleep in. I don't expect you to be there.
Where else would I be?
At home
Hanging
with
with
your
you guys
family.
and hanging with our listeners.
You know, helping your wife or the kids who
Yeah.
are all out for the summer.
That's right. That's right. How's the summer going to be in the Klug household?
Camps? What do we have
Camps.
set up?
Wild.
Is it going to be wild?
Yeah, I think they've got maybe 1 week of camps.
That's
so
it.
Plenty of weeks at home.
If you want your whole family to come out, we can get you a 5% discount on a foursome.
Ooh,
I don't think
how
we
nice
can.
of
I don't
you.
think we're doing
No,
discounts.
we can't do a
No,
discount.
because then we got to
Adam.
give everybody else
We
one.
got to make the decision
This
by
is
today,
for Adam.
right?
Today's
This
the last
is
day,
an
5 p.m.
employee discount, 5%.
No.
I'm going to offer it up to Adam.
For him?
If he buys a full foursome.
5% more for him. Making us come in the next day at 1:45.
Have his
Good
3
Lord.
kids and his wife can just scramble around Goat Hill Park. Oh, if you weren't paying attention, Woods did mention it when he was talking about Eco Water. Today is the last day to sign up. We are now sold out in the morning, but there are spots available still for the afternoon 1 p.m. shotgun next Wednesday at Goat Hill. We've got tons of great prizes from Callaway and more. We've got food from Goat Hill, from Jersey Mike's. We've got Better Buzz Coffee. We've got Maestro Dobel Tequila going to be out there, and Virgin Beer for everyone. Drinks. It's going to be a really good time. We got a heckle hole. We got Ben's Glory Hole with a chance to win even more prizes. Closest to the pin for Nixon watches, Ben & Woods custom Nixon watches is going to be
Miss
the
the Green,
prize.
eat a bean.
Miss the Green, eat a bean. We've talked about. You ordered the
Ordered
beans.
them.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna have to-
happening. Unless you're scared out there, guys that are coming to play. Just
I think
one
we
bean.
can get enough people to try that one.
Yeah,
It's kind of
100%.
fun.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah, once.
Everyone gets to try it once. I just don't want to keep doing it.
Miss the Green, eat a bean.
I will say that Starburst jelly beans are one of my favorite candies, and I have them at home.
Uh-huh.
I like to have a couple at night before when I'm watching TV or whatever.
That's your treat to yourself?
I grabbed the bag last night. I was like,
Can't do
yeah,
it.
I'm good.
Too chewy.
I had enough jelly beans for the day.
A little
Can't
too
do
chewy.
it. I know. I'll never look
Bad
at them
memories.
I'll never look at them the same again. Good for you, buddy. Well, do you have any birthday plans tonight?
Tonight after this I got a meeting after the show, and
Yep.
then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take my kids out to lunch.
Nice.
Not sure exactly where yet. I think we're just grilling steaks out with the family for dinner, and then tomorrow night we'll go out to dinner as the family.
Okay, for Father's Day / birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Father's Day got lumped in with Bo's kindergarten graduation. Oh, we'll just celebrate both. That bit. What about you?
We are just cooking at home tonight.
And you're
so-
working Sunday
Yeah,
on
but I do
Father's
have I have goat golf tournament tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So, and then I'm working on Sunday. But no, I get my father-in-law. There's a tournament at his club, and we're going to play with my brothers-in-law and do that on Sunday morning. So that'll be fun.
We have a Tier 1 game. It's our last regular season game of the year. Would love to see you guys come out. We don't charge you or anything to come out and watch Tier 1 baseball game. And I'm looking right now for where we're playing. It's at 9 a.m. I do know that. And I believe, Ben, I can tell you in 1 second, we will be playing at Vista Sports Complex. So come on out to Vista Sports Complex, 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Adam, quick question, because you did go to the Chucky Lozano news conference. I saw he teared up. He started crying.
Yeah.
Do we know why though? Because
He's emotional. He's excited.
a lot of it was in Spanish. So was he just excited? He was appreciative.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you that was
You don't
part
know.
of the
That was part of the Spanish
portion.
speak. Well, he was definitely emotional. I think he's happy because he's back close to family, and after playing in Europe for many years, is being in San Diego near his family in Mexico, and he's family guy with his kids. But it was a nice moment, and it looked like the scene last night at the Rady Shell.
Oh,
for
my God.
The fan party looked wild. We had a live reporter out there. The place was loud. Tons of people. There was a line all the way down the Embarcadero to get in when they opened up, and then it looked like a pretty jammed house to welcome Chucky Lozano for San Diego FC last night.
They did it big, man. They did it right, and you didn't go. You had to work.
I didn't. We had our newest reporter, Tali, went out and was reporting on the scene for us.
I didn't go. I didn't get invited, so.
It was open invite.
Yeah,
to
but nobody
everybody.
invited me to go with them. That's what I'm saying. Nobody asked me, Woodsy, do you want to go to the Shell to see Chucky? And
Adam, I just sent you a clip from Jurickson and Luis Arise via direct message. If you want to call that up while we check our last traffic, we might be able to hear what those guys had to say this morning on MLB Network. Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Liberty Mutual. Got a collision now on the El Cajon Boulevard on-ramp to westbound 8. Couple vehicles over to the left shoulder, but good news, that accident has been cleared on the Hotel Circle on-ramp to westbound 8. In Lakeside, southbound 67, just before Riverford Road, we are getting reports of what looks like a bike rack in middle lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
So we saw the last couple of days, because they make their one stop in New York this year. MLB Network has taken advantage of the Padres visiting. They had Jeremiah Estrada in studio yesterday, Robert Suarez, and now this morning just saw Jurickson Profar and Luis Arise making a visit to the MLB Network studios over there in New Jersey. So lots of Padres talk, gets a little more national attention.
Sure.
It just happens to be the random when you pass through New York. I'm sure this is what happens when other teams make their one visit of the year as well. New toy, get to talk to different people than you usually get to talk to. So yeah, they've had a lot of Padres talk on the league's own network these last 24 hours.
I just got a little FOMO. Like, this should have been a series we bookmarked maybe to go up and go to a game. I'd like to go as a show to a game. We'll probably have to pay for it, but that's fine. We can go. I want to pick a series next year and go. This would have been a great one. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in New York would have been fantastic.
My buddy's going to the game tomorrow, so I'll get a full
He lives
report
in
on
New
it.
York.
Yeah, he lives there, So, all right, well, here's some audio from this morning's appearance. This is both Jurickson Profar and Luis Arise at MLB Network.
Luis, I was just thinking about, you do everything you can for Minnesota, you get traded. You do everything and more for Miami, and you get traded. It's got to be difficult to deal with that.
Yeah, really difficult, but not impossible.
That's right.
I just open my mind. I just continue play hard, and then if I stay healthy, man, I can do a lot of good things. I open my mind every day. I just compete like I do every day.
Jurickson, as Jason said, it's your 3rd time with the Padres, and it seems like each time your game gets better. What's the adjustment you've made this year? Because you've taken your offensive game to a whole nother level.
Just, trying to stay consistent. I'm a very stubborn guy. So before, let's say they get me out 2 times, I'm already changing, trying to get hits. And that wasn't good for me, in the long run, and never was good. So just, the really good players that I was seeing, like a guy like Trout, he's the same. It doesn't matter if he's 0 for 15, 0 for whatever, he's staying consistent with his work, with his swing, and that's what I changed this year.
You've never been 0 for 15, have you?
Try. Yeah, I was there too, but
once?
Yes, I was there. This is baseball, man. Baseball is hard.
Yeah. Luis, I want to follow up on what Ron asked you. You won a batting title in Minnesota. You won a batting title in Miami. You're leading the league in hitting now in San Diego. There's never been anybody who's kind of followed that career path, maybe won 3 batting titles for 3 different teams. Do you think that teams don't value the value of bat to ball these days?
I think, a lot of people want me hit homers, but I'm a line drive guy. I'm a single hitter. So I just go there. I just want to 5 for 5 every day. And then another thing, the good things, I got a lot of friends. I got new friends. Especially I play with this guy. This guy is amazing. He got good energy like Tatis, Machado. I think I'm in good spot.
Yeah, I appreciate the bat-to-ball skill. And I want to do the same.
Yeah.
You know? So I appreciate it.
Do you think hitting instructor is for you next, Luis? I saw that Carlos Correa was as hot as anyone in the game. Says he's got to thank you for some of the tips you gave him. What were those tips?
I just saw that Twitter and somebody sent to me, and he called me almost every day too. He loved to talk about hitting. And I just say, hey, Carlos, just try to hit and drive. You got the power. If I got his power, I just try to hit better. And then I'm happy for him. He's an amazing guy. He's amazing. He's a leader. He's a leader.
He is. Now your relationship with Rod Carew. I mean, I've seen some pictures with you, Rod Carew. So you're in Minnesota compared to Rod Carew. You're in San Diego compared to Tony Gwynn. I mean, it's really an interesting, path that you've taken. But talk about that relationship with Rod Carew a little bit.
I don't know that he was a mentor for Tony Gwynn and for me too. So now I want to say thanks God for the opportunity. And then Rucaru teach me a lot of good things. He tried to teach me how I need bond, but because he was fast. I'm not a fast, So if I was fast, I bond too. But Rucaru just tell me, he say to me, hey, try to hit to the shortstop or line drive, like my dad say. If you hit left field, you can make a lot of money. So
there's hits out there.
I just want to hit the ball to the middle left field.
That's awesome.
Hey, Jerickson, you were talking about how much you value what Luis does.
Yes.
If you look at your launch angle, it's definitely down this year. Is that something that you did consciously, and how did that come about?
Yes, like I said, I was just wanted to hit for higher average, like I always did before. The game when I came up, the game was, changing a little bit, all about launch angle, and I was doing that too, and then the average is always down. And this year I just, wanted to hit line drives, and then this guy came over. It made it even better.
Can I follow up? I know you went to winter ball for the first time in like 10 years, right? And is that something that was a point of emphasis for you in winter ball?
Yes, I work with, I went to the same team as Tatis Jr. and I work with his dad too. So I wanted to be closer to them, and because the years earlier I worked with them too, but I never got the chance to play. So I wanted to play this year to practice those things that he's teaching.
Good stuff.
Awesome,
Jerickson Profar and Luis Arraez in with MLB Network this morning. I enjoyed, obviously, Luis talking about Rod Carew, and then Tony Gwynn playing for the Twins and the Padres, and two organizations that have valued bat-to-ball, high-average hitting guys, in their franchise history. And now Luis Arraez trying to do the same thing. They're actually, if you were watching on YouTube with the video, they showed a picture of Luis Arraez and our Tony Gwynn Jr. standing at the Tony Gwynn statue out at Gallagher Square during that interview as well, which was kind of nice.
It's great stuff, man. Got to handle business in New York. Got to figure out a way to spoil these lefties the next two nights, Benny, and figure out a way to come back and with a winning road trip would be just phenomenal.
Andy and Elston coming up next, and I got an update from Craig while we were listening to that, because I asked what caused Chucky Lozano to tear up in yesterday's news conference, and Craig said he teared up talking about coming through the academy system in Pachuca and what it meant to him in reference to the academy that San Diego FC has set up, the Right to Dream, down in Sycuan, where they're building a young academy for soccer players who can come up and learn education and hopefully a path to maybe a career in soccer. So he said that's such an important thing. That's what got him all emotional yesterday during that news conference.
Does that surprise you that somebody would get emotional at a news conference, just signing with a new team?
A little bit.
It does. Would you be surprised if I got emotional at a news conference signing with a new team?
Yeah, I would be. Well, I would be emotional if you signed with a new team.
No. Like if we signed,
if
we went for if me and you left and we went for a new team, and
you would be the one to get emotional.
Correct.
And I would be the one to stay logical. This is just the smartest move for us right now. You'd be all weepy and sad and happy and everything. Yeah,
emotional.
Try to remain level.
Adam probably doesn't like hearing this. Or maybe he does.
I don't know.
You never know.
This week, he might be
Not
ready
gonna happen.
to take a break from us for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's had plenty of Ben and Woods time this week.
Oh, God, he's had more than his share. Sorry we didn't get to things Ben likes.
I liked everything about this week.
I did too.
Wins.
Yeah, lots of wins.
Lots
Keep
of good
it rolling.
shows, good guests. The only thing I didn't like is Paulie being under the weather, but hopefully he'll be back on Monday and we can be at full strength after a good weekend in New York for the Padres.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I see you. Appreciate your hard work.
All the Padres out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I see Annie and Elston getting ready to join you for the next 4 hours.
Happy
and then
Father's Day to you guys, by the way.
You too, buddy. Happy birthday.
We got, 1 hour of Gwen and Chris before Padres baseball this afternoon. 3:10, Sammy with the Eco Water pregame show, and Padres baseball at 4:10 from Citi Field in Queens, Flushing, New York. For Adam Klug, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great weekend from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.